Ready for action for main event number 2 here on the afternoon. KA 100 Master presented by Mint Motorsports. Mario Barrios has clinched the championship, so that's 2 classes in a row here with a champion already known at this point of the day. One of them we had to run the race, this one we won't. All for fun here, and Ralston Performance Group having a great start to the weekend, and then a great morning today as well. First, second, and third, Barrios on the right, Mingnan Zhu on the left. Mike Rollison starting P3. Main event number 2, 16 laps for K Master is green.
Nice slow start to get things underway. Barrios will jump into the early lead. Mike Rollison goes up into second. Mingnan Zhu back into third. Fourth, Tyler Prestel. Fifth is De La Garza Elizondo. Sixth is Smith. Fifth is De La Garza Elizondo. Front 3 drivers stretched away, the RPG machines. Tyler Prestel, who was right in the middle of the fight throughout the entire race yesterday, has dropped back quite a bit here on the opening lap. Definitely not what he was looking for, as he's got to spool things back up and get himself back up into the fight. He ran 4th for a majority of that race on Saturday afternoon, was able to get into 3rd a couple of occasions. In fact, nipped Mike Rollison at the line to get the last step of the podium on Saturday in round number 5, but now he's got some work to do as the RPGs line up 1, 2, 3.
Mingnan Zhu, little bit of a hiccup there in the shark fin, now makes it really a 1-2 breakaway. Mike Rollison hasn't really played with Mario Barrios much today. He spent most of the weekend kind of riding around in 3rd and keeping both Zhu and Barrios close. But now here as the finals underway, he checks over his shoulder. Ming's a little bit further back and potentially into the clutches of Tyler Prestel. And a swap in the 5th spot at the end of the opening lap here for Jose De La Garza Elizondo ahead of Christian Smith on the PSL Vera Lark. But Mario Barrios, Mike Rollison through turn number 4. Happy to ride here as we get this main event underway, and the calmness continues. Now the conditions on the racetrack here, Rob, we saw overcast skies, cooler temperatures. Yesterday this race had rain in the middle of it that really spiced things up. But if my eyes aren't deceiving me here, it looks like the picture is starting to get a little bit brighter, and that sun, the traditional super hot Midwest sun here for the Summer Nationals, starting to poke its way through the clouds.
Yeah, about 80 degrees here. Track's at the warmest it's been, I think, throughout the weekend thus far. Mingnan Zhu closing back up again. Remember, he lost a little bit there. The shark fin, he's been able to catch right back up to the tail of Mike Rollison. Prestel trying to do the same thing. We'll look at the lap times when they get back around. Lap number 1, Prestel actually lost 4/10 on Zhu at the end of that one. That's not what you're trying to do. Barrios surveys the situation, look over the left shoulder, see what he's got going on. Coming across the line to put lap number 2 in the books. Again, the 16 lapper for the drivers here. Rollison was the fastest driver outright of the opening circuit. Prestel's now 0.6 of a second behind Zhu. So Tyler Prestel, who was hoping to get right in the middle of the mix here, needs to find some pace, step things up. And again, just early on here as well. Low tire pressures for a 16 lapper, as we know. Prestel knows this racetrack very well, his home circuit. Let's see if he can find something here as we close in on the midpoint. Barrios leads it though, as we're now into the main events. Round number 6, final round of this year's Superkarts USA Pro Tour, the 17th running of the program. Started back in 2010, the opening round held at Sonoma Raceway. Think of some of the drivers we've had in this program over the years, with the NASCAR event happening at the Brickyard here this weekend. In that first year, 2010, AJ Allmendinger, right there in the shifter kart category. Jamie McMurray came in around as well. A number of cool names have been part of the action over the last couple of years. Those that ran in this program and have moved onwards as well. Xander, you talk about Connor Zilic, Brent Cruz, some of the drivers have gone overseas as well to race in Formula Car programs. A lot of drivers have been part of this Superkarts USA Pro Tour.
Yeah, the lineage now of the SKUSA Pro Tour has kids that at one point weren't even born when the SKUSA Pro Tour was created and are now fighting at the forefront. Davin Roberts is an example.
It is.
Now finds himself leading the other headline category, Pro X30 to green, which will be our final main event on the afternoon. This is main event number 2 of 8 here for K100 Master, followed up by a number of them. And this is the only class that we knew going into the weekend that was going to be clinched, and only to one of two classes that has been locked up before we got going here today. But here's your look at your temperature readings right here in Newcastle, from what it's showing us at least. 74.5 degrees to push 80 degrees potentially. But more than anything else, the track temp only 20 degrees up from that. We've seen temps over the course of the season, Rob, as much as a 40-degree swing in the surface temperature, thinking back to the desert. Not having that sun baking the surface this whole morning, even with as much on-track activity as we've had. And even right now, obviously, with the track still being hot right off the back of the pro shift remain, only 20 degrees up. And 80% humidity, though. Still very thick out there.
Seeing the speed come out of Tyler Prestel, as he has closed up on Ming-Yan Zhu now. Let's see what happens here.
Tyler Prestel had a little look there into the cell tower hairpin, trying to narrow things up. Now as they roll through the bend, here on lap number 5, Prestel looking to the inside of Ming-Yan Zhu. He'll get through in the green corner.
There it is, finally. Prestel stepping her up, making it happen. Goes to P3. Does he have the pace now?
Well, he had no defenses to get through this time here.
True.
No, Mike Rollison.
Yeah, Mike wasn't running the big blocker there, the wingman situation. He's up there now racing with Mario Barrios. But to see now, I got a good battle here going as well with De La Garza Elizondo and Christian Smith. They're going at it as well for 5th and 6th. They haven't really been running together that much throughout the weekend, so this is good to see them in the main event, potentially getting a chance to battle back and forth. Question is, does Tyler Prestel now have the pace to reel in the leaders? Let's see when as they circulate around. We'll start looking at lap times. Prestel does have the fastest lap at 1:13.173, but lost, of course, a number of tenths making that pass. Prestel working with Jim Conlon from Adrenaline Fix Karting, a fixture here at Newcastle Motorsports Park. Jim's brought a lot of people into the Newcastle Motorsports Park program with his Arrive and Drive 206 packages. It's great to see him here working with Tyler. See if this essentially privateer effort can go after the juggernaut that is Rollison Performance Group. Prestel still has Zhu right behind him. It's going to be all about lap times here now. Can he get back down to that 13.1? Barrios turned out 1:13.5. Prestel last time by only about a second behind Rollison. So if he keeps laying the pace down, there's an opportunity for him to close back up. As Barrios with 2 to 3 kart lengths right now on Mike Rollison.
And so for Tyler Prestel to Mike Rollison, the delta was just about a full second. Finds itself about 9 tenths, now down to 8 potentially here as they roll through turn number 3. Rollison closing back up to Barrios. First bit of separation that really Barrios had to Rollison. You could see that the gap had opened slightly, but more notably, Prestel was much better with those two disconnected here at the halfway mark. They stayed disconnected at all later on in the going. Tyler Prestel will certainly be able to break through. He just needs to get about to that 7/10 of a second margin. That'll put him inside the draft window and easily able to be able to close the gap from there. He's kind of on the edge of it right now, where he's not getting much of the benefit, and all it takes is a couple good shoves from Raleigh to push Barrios further and out into the distance.
That last lap, Xander, all 4 of the front runners turning 1:13.6s. So I think actually Barrios was the quickest driver, but for the most part, all within a 10th of a second. Prestel coming up on the wheel a bit though. Let's see what he gets here. Again, if he, as you said, gets a little, maybe gets close enough to get a bit of that draft potentially. 10th here, a 10th there. He has been able to clear Ming-Yan Zhu, so that's the one big thing for Tyler Prestel, is he's not having to worry about anybody behind him right now. He's got some room. He continues to push. I think he may be almost there now. Indeed, he's within 7/10 of a second. In fact, he resets fast lap of the race at 1:13.147, almost a half a second faster than Barrios. So Prestel,
I'm telling you, man, he's on the way. He's almost there. That little bit of disconnecting between Raleigh and Barrios has given him the window that he needed to break into the draft. And now Tyler Prestel still needs about another lap and a half of perfect corners, but once he gets to within a car length, things will be good. Maybe less than that. 2 car lengths away and counting now as they go through the bend. You can see how much extra track he used right there in the kink to close on up to Raleigh. 1.5 car lengths away. It'll be halfway in, halfway home this time. 8 in, 8 to go. De La Garza Elizondo still back there with Christian Smith, and unfortunately for Mingnan Zhu, without a pusher here behind him in the main, he finds himself all alone there in 4th at the moment.
Tyler Prestall going through the scenarios in his head right now. He knows he's working here on the last 8 laps of this race. Just got to put your head down. It'll be the crossed halfway flags this time by. And Prestall is going to get that draft again coming down the straightaway. Rawlson, quick look over the shoulder to see it, and he knows he's coming. So Prestall has got it going on. This time a 13.3, another 3/10 on Barrios, so he has closed it up here. That Kart continues to get better and better as he's trying to roll up here on him. Good stuff here. I was told last night about a bunch of the friends and family who not with us here at Newcastle watching the event from home here on Kart Chasers. A shout out to all those of you who are in the Tyler Prestall fan club as he has closed up on these RPG drivers up front now. This is where Prestall had himself for essentially the entirety of the 16-lap main event on Saturday. He'll go to the inside of Mike Rollison. Book it. Makes the pass in turn number 11. Prestall goes to P2. He'll defend a little bit coming into scoreboard. Good idea there. Lock it down, see if he can now go to work on Barrios. Into the second half, Xander, he has made the move by one of the best. Through by Rollison, he goes into second.
And now, with so much life left here, Tyler Prestall finds himself in the same scenario as yesterday, but one spot higher. Mike Rollison doing all he can to keep himself as the buffer between Tyler Prestall and, in this case, solely Mario Barrios. So Tyler's going to have to pass him in a part of the racetrack where he really thinks he's got a sizable advantage over Raleigh that Mike won't be able to get right back to him. The hard part is right now they find themselves back on the edge of the draft. So you've kind of got 2 options here if you're Tyler. You know you're faster than not just Raleigh, but Barrios at multiple points already. You've seen that. You've closed the gap yourself. If you know this driver here, again, no different than the minis, micros, and juniors where the kids sometimes won't work with each other for the benefit of getting the shot at the win versus second, you have to go, okay, he won't push me, I'll push him all the way forward. And in this case, the one difference is he may have to force Raleigh to pass Mario Barrios, because the normal strategy is either pass like there and drive away. Here going to the shark fin, this will be the big test, right? Are you going to be able to get out of this corner good enough that Raleigh can't get back to you like he did a lap ago? He's still pretty close. Might not be quite close enough. So that's good enough. Now the big run down the front stretch. Are you close enough in the draft? But where I was going is push that driver up to the lead, and then you could pass them right before the lead, and you'll probably be okay. The issue here is that Mike Rollison may not be that motivated to try and pass Mario Barrios until the run to the checkered flag. Yeah. So you're going to have to push him all the way up to Mario and try to push him so much that he has no choice but to pass him. And I just don't know how crafty Tyler Prestall is, but it's got to be one of the tougher tasks, I think, to pull off over even those shifter guys trying to hang on to the coattails of Mateus Morgado in a 20-lap run.
Well, he's made the overtake more than once now on Rollison. Rollison getting back once in turn 17, once down in turn number 1. Prestall's got the pace to get by, but he, of course, doesn't have the ability then to put a lap or 2 in without Mike going back by. And every time he does, it's allowing Barrios to stretch away just a little bit more. Even last time with that battle, Prestall was quicker than Barrios by about 1/10 of a second. Mario just doesn't have that pace right now. Prestall and Rollison both quicker than each of them. Let's see if Prestall can line things up for a pass in turn 1. That may be a good opportunity. If he can get it done in turn 1 here. We haven't seen it yet. Let's see if he gets the draft. That looks pretty good. There we go. Now you're going to come alongside.
They're outside the draft, so he'll be able to stick it. The hard part is right here, the crossover. He was prepped for it, though.
He was.
Through the 90s here, you got to get really crafty. And again, he's got to manage the time. 5 laps to go. Caleb, down to you.
Thank you, Xander. I'm standing by here with Gavin Bailiff, 4th on the racetrack, 6th in the Circle of Champions. You're racing again next year at the Pro Tour for free, and a 4th on track. That's one of your better finishes on the year. Just kind of tell me about the race.
Yeah, I mean, the race was good. I'm super pumped to be back in the Circle of Champions, moving up 1 spot, going to represent the 6th plate next year. Yeah, fourth on track was really good for the way this weekend kind of started. I mean, we made the Super Pole and we're pretty good in qualifying. We just hadn't quite found the pace in the heat races and the pre-final, so to come away with a fourth was really good. We definitely had a lot of speed. Almost took third from Danny at the end there, but just couldn't quite get it done.
And I know last year after you won at Speed Sports at the opening round, the expectations were high coming into 2026, even being in the championship photo shoot last year in 2025, right? Whenever we were at the start of the weekend, you know, maybe didn't meet expectations becoming a SKUSA Pro Tour champion, but are you content with the year that you've had?
Hard to say, relative. I'm always happy with results and being able to get stuff done. We've had speed this year, just not a lot of like true speed. So I'm happy. There's always 2027, there's always Las Vegas, so we'll just put our focuses onto something for next year and for the end of this year. So yeah, I mean, we're always happy with results. We learn something new every weekend, and Dom and we were working so hard on the engine this weekend, trying to get stuff figured out, not only for this race, but for next year and for Vegas. So
Yeah, thank you for the time, Gavin, and congrats on the top 5.
thank you.
Guys?
Yeah, this battle on the racetrack right now continues as Mingyan Zhu is right in there as well with Rawlson. He was actually closing back up as Prestel and Rawlson battled each other. Zhu able to slip by. Finally, Prestel with maybe a little bit of open room here, but only a couple laps remaining. He had a bit of a gap on Rawlson, but Mike got a really good drive out of turn 17, was able to get back by him at the end of the straightaway, ending what could have been a run here for Tyler Prestel. But now's the time to look, because Mingyan Zhu is now trying to get a run. Look at Rawlson just pushing him all the way down the straightaway here right now, trying to help him get by. The gap right now between first and second, 1.6 seconds as Prestel's got the spot. But Mario Barrios with some speed now, although he's back up to a 13.9. This is going to be Rawlson do whatever he can to help Mingyan Zhu get back by.
And anything that they do here at this point is pretty much all for naught when it comes to the race win with 2.5 laps to go, right? So it's just kind of have some fun. Even if they lined up 1.6 seconds, it would be unheard of to be able to track Mario Barrios down, especially when he's firing on all cylinders like he appears to be right now. You look at that string of consistency Mario's been able to do, even as he's faded a little bit here in the late going of this main part of those laps as well, without having Raleigh to give him a boost here and there. Tyler Prestel, in comparison, right, getting trapped into this battle, having now Mingyan Zhu to deal with as well as Raleigh, finds himself, unfortunately, too far back to be able to make any headway, because Mario he's locked in. Now, I saw it there, and I don't know how much emotion you can really get out of a guy like Mike Rawlson, who has been through it all and seen it all, but I swear I've seen him shake his head twice now in the last 10 seconds, watching Ming just barely miss the exit of a corner, because he's trying to give him a shot to get back around Tyler.
Yeah, indeed, coming back by that last time by a 1:14.1. Prestel's fallen off the pace he had. He was a second off his fastest lap. He's thinking more, I think, about defense for P2 right now. Third on the road yesterday, a podium finish, trying to get that one more step here to go to P2 with Zhu right behind him, Rawlson there as well. Mike doing everything he can to help Mingyan get back through. We'll see the white flag next time by here for KA Master, brought to you by Avinco Tires. Again, just one more to go. Essentially a lap and a half remain for Mario Barrios, who locked down the championship yesterday, putting on, as I say, the exclamation point on the season. Would love to have had Phil DeLeo and Josh Sarche here, the Mach 5 Motorsports drivers who were part of the battle at both Tucson and Cincinnati. Zhu closing back up again on Prestel. Man, I just wondered, Prestel was 0.8 of a second off in qualifying. He was the fastest driver again. So if it stands right now, back-to-back main events, he's had the fastest lap, but he just hasn't been able to get it done in qualifying. I just wonder how much different Xander would have been had he been able to qualify on pole.
I don't know. It would have been really tricky. I think it would have come down to if Mike Rawlson was the one to try and break through the wall, if you will. You know, it's a totally different story, though. You're right, having to get through them all versus being the one in front of them, because one man can hold up an entire pack, but one man can also be held back by one man in particular. So we're seeing the outcome of that now. Granted, it'll still be an improvement over yesterday if Tyler Prestel can hold it here over the final lap, while Mario Barrios rockets off into the distance. for a clean sweep of the main events to close out his championship campaign. Tyler Prestel is going to have to fight to hang on to some hardware here going into the infield to keep RPG from locking out the podium for both days of action in K-Master.
Prestel P3 in race 1, could be P2 here in race 2. Rounds 5 and 6, doing a great job so far. It's going to be a bit of a drag race to the line, I believe. Is he going to cover to the inside? No, he's running that full racing line through 17. Probably the best bet to try to hold on to the spot. Urging that 417 to get some more. Barrios gets another win. He sweeps the weekend. Back-to-back jacks from Mario Barrios. Mingyan trying to get him on the line. Not quite enough. Tyler Prestel going to hold on to second. Great job for him. 26 thousandths of a second at the line. Prestel over Zhu, second and third. There's your lineup right there. Mario Barrios, 1.954 seconds. 2 victories in a row for Mario Barrios. Prestel coming home second, Zhu in third, Rollis in fourth. And that battle between Jose Eduardo de la Garza Elizondo and Christian Smith waged all race long. De la Garza Elizondo coming away with the position over Christian Smith. So Barrios wins the championship, puts an exclamation point on the end of the season. Great way to cap things off here at Newcastle as, again, 2 RPG drivers on the podium.
We'll be back with more. 2 main events in the books. Still 6 remain in the 2026 Pro Tour.
IAMI USA West is the official West Coast importer for IAMI engines and parts. Our dedicated and knowledgeable staff have a combined 50+ years experience in the sport and can help you with all of your needs. Call us today or visit our website to find your local dealer to shop.
Welcome to the future of kart race preparation. Kart Sim Pro North America. Featuring laser-scanned North American kart circuits and precision-tuned kart physics developed using real telemetry, dyno and tyre data, Kart Sim Pro North America delivers the most advanced and realistic kart simulation experience available today. Whether you're training for race day, refining your lines, or shaving tenths off your personal best, Kart Sim Pro gives you pro-level insight without leaving your home. Trusted by world champions, coaches, and karting enthusiasts alike, this is where virtual practice translates into real-world performance. Experience the thrill, the challenge, and the edge. Kart Sim Pro North America. Use code CHASER20 to get 20% off today.
From the garage to the grid, Acceleration Kart Racing is your one-stop shop for karting. Engines, parts, safety gear, tools, and more from the brands you trust. Everything you need for race day starts at shopakr.com.
Let's get going here with a full house. How about it? TKG Beer Art USA KA Junior for main event number 3 here on Sunday at the Summer Nationals. Unfortunately, we might be down 1 here as we keep an eye on things. The 805 Bennett slowing here on the out lap, trying to figure out who we've got. That is one of the new Bennett prototype chassis, it appears. Charlie Marone slated to start 23rd, although it seems like he's gotten it fired up decent enough now. Nico Orbezo and Colton Schniegenberg getting set to roll here at the front row. This one's going to be a blast. And it's going to be a lot to keep up with. There's no question. Because guess what? K.A. Junior about as heads up as you can draw it. Schneegenberg had a pushback bumper that we captured there in the pre-final. He was able to get it overturned. That was huge because he would have been 8 points back from the points lead. He enters now 22 above a dead tie. Well, it was a dead tie. Even then with the shakeup of the results, it's 22 above Tristan Murphy, 32 above Travis Pettit. What does that mean, ladies and gentlemen? Tristan Murphy with a win in the fastest lap, no matter what happens, still could pull this championship off. If Schneegenberg's second with Murphy winning and no fast lap for either one of them, then he could end up as still the champ off of P2. But it's about as close as you can draw it up. We've got a couple classes that'll be similar. K.A. Junior, the championship, and round 6's final is green.
One driver off on the entry into turn number 2. So one of the potential NASCARs will have to figure out who that is coming through, but someone shoveled off the outside of turn 2. Otherwise, 3 and 4 looking good so far. Down into turn number 5 now. 2 wide, 3 wide.
Oh, Ashton Woon off the track there at turn 5. Looked to be Aaron Spears who started 10th. So a heartbreaker for Aaron Spears, who was on track for a career best day here at the SKUSA Pro Tour. The Nash machine facing the wrong way at the barriers at turn 2, and Nico Orbezo ahead of Schneegenberg, and now Murphy, Tristan Murphy going straight to work. He's got one target, his teammate here for the championship. Colton Schneegenberg now the next one ahead of him.
Drivers finally starting to settle in here on the opening lap. Tough start for Ashton, moving well back. Another driver off there as well. That is Blair and the number 850 off the racetrack. So indeed, finally things settling in. Orbezo is going to grab the lead. Schneegenberg slotting into the second spot. Tristan Murphy there into third. Fourth, I think, is that Samet or is that, I think it's Samet in the fourth spot.
Pettit in fourth.
That's Pettit. Is that Pettit or Samet? Yeah.
Pettit. An incredible opening lap here for Travis Pettit.
He's P5. That was Murphy and Golseth. That was Golseth Seth that was able to get by. Golseth goes to third. He gets by Murphy. Fifth is Pettit. Isaac Payne up to sixth. Samet's the driver in seventh.
Yeah, Marco Samet behind him. Isaac Payne, big time plays here on the opening couple of laps here for Isaac, taking advantage of all the chaos around him. He didn't make any noise in the pre-final, just didn't cause any problems. It put him on the third row, and he's managed to stay there. As behind him, William Vitor, Valentino Santillan. That was the skirmish right there in the cell tower, and that's going to be the first split you could classify here of the main groupings, back from Payne.
Look at a good pass there for Santillan. He was able to get to the inside to get that pass done at the apex. Open the door there, though, and in comes Orbezo again. So Orbezo now Golseth up into second spot. He's been working his way forward here. Great job for Nathan early on up into the second spot. You can look at the gap there. Some fighting through the left-hander of the shark fin is going to allow 3 drivers to break away up front. There's a big move for Samet to the inside as well. He's fighting with Murphy. That's back there, though, for 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. We got a breakaway here right now. Orbezo, Golseth, and Schneegenberg have just pulled out Xander about 1.3 seconds. They've got themselves a little cushion up front. We'll see whether or not that next group can settle down, get back to work, and get themselves forward. Samet will lead them coming out to turn number 4.
And that right now is huge when we talk about the championship picture here. The fact that, unfortunately for Tristan Murphy and Travis Pettit, this breakaway takes away some of the control they might have over their own destiny. Colton Schneegenberg at the moment looking phenomenal right now as they roll out of the cell tower hairpin. And looking at that here, Murphy 12 back. They finish as they are.
As we know, though, with this particular racetrack, all we need is these leaders to start the battle a little bit here. It's going to bring everybody back in. Murphy's going to lose another spot as Pettit able to get by him, move Pettit up to 5th. Murphy goes back to 6th spot. Orbezo still leading the way, though, over Schneegenberg and Golseth. Schneegenberg up into 2nd position. They're in the 827 RPM machine. Now, Samet and Murphy, Samet and Pettit now running 4th and 5th. Let's see if those two BJR teammates can work together. Because right there, Orbezo, the first look and going on the defense, defended to the inside at turn number 1. You're just not going to get quite as quick a lap time if you're going to give up that kind of entry into that fast left-hand corner. And there you go right there, Golseth. He is pointing forward. He cannot believe it. What are you guys doing? let's just go. It's too early to do any kind of defense right now. Again, that's going to play now on Schniegenberg. If Schniegenberg does it, if he sits with Orbezo's going to trust him. If he opens up one time and Schniegenberg's going to go in, the next time it happens, because Orbezo goes back by, he's not going to give him the same favor. He's not going to play just as nice. So you've got to work together up front if you want to pull away. The minute you dive on the inside of a guy that opens the corner up for you, you're going to find yourself without any trust in the front group.
Callan Berghofer now, another blow to Travis Pettit's championship hopes here, making that pass in the infield. Maybe the speed for the Georgia native, the 826, is good enough, though, that it'll tow Travis back forward. I mean, Callan's been on the move, as has Ashton Woon in the 895, obviously. 5 up for William Vitor as well.
Xander Woon was back all the way into the 12th position. He's going to go by Murphy right now for 7th. So Ashton Woon on the roll right now. He's not the outright fastest driver on the racetrack, but that was a really good lap for him. He was 4/10 quicker than Murphy on that last lap. Made a good run down the straightaway, tucked to the inside and won, and moved himself up into 7th. So Woon now into the 7th position, not that far up, far behind Berghofer either. So he'll be able to go to work there for P6.
3 kids up front, though, that have grown up racing together out of Texas. Nico Orbezo, Colton Schniegenberg, and Nathan Golseth. All 3 of them with a healthy margin back here to the BJR trio, the teammates 4th, 5th, and 6th. Now, will that hold as of last time by? They gave up a 10th and a half, and of course, they're a little disconnected, but Colton Schniegenberg, one of the bright spots of our interviews in the morning, no doubt, Rob, realizing that even if he had the penalty, he would have been in good shape. He was able to get it overturned as we see Pettit make that move around Samet for the 5th spot. But Colton Schniegenberg in the driver's seat, out in front now in the points fight by nearly 3 positions worth, 38 up on Murphy, 60 up on Pettit, and that'll update at the line, I believe, too, with a bigger delta to Murphy falling behind Ashton Woon. And Pettit will probably bring it really tight for 2nd. So Travis Pettit staring at deja vu. The 2-plate, looking at another vice championship here. If he can't roll with Berghofer on the speed delta that they might be having right now, because it looked like the last lap was good again, but then you compare the lap times, it was only a couple hundredths.
And Xander, have a look at Ashton Woon. What does he see in front of him? He's got 3 BJR Lando Norris karts in front of him. He's got to get through all 3 of them, Berghofer, Pettit, and Samet. If he's going to want to find his way forward, it'll be Berghofer first, as Pettit's gone up into 4th, Samet 5th, Berghofer 6th. So Woon's going to have to get Berghofer first, and he's going to have to do it quickly if he wants to get himself closer. He tries it, not quite there. Murphy's going to try to make a move to the inside of Woon as well. I don't think he's close enough to do the corner into it. There he is in the middle of the shark fin. He'll get by Berghofer, and he'll bring Murphy with him. So move Woon now up into 6th spot, Murphy up into 7th.
Yeah, weird to say that Ashton Woon passing Tristan Murphy might have been one of the best things for him. And now as we watch them roll their way down the main straightaway here, Colton Schniegenberg over Tristan Murphy, Travis Pettit, Golseth, Woon. There's your top 5 in the points here, and you can see Pettit inching closer to Murphy. With every lap that opens the gap further back, he can get a little bit tighter on the championship. But again, as things stand here, he needs still a lot of real estate to get eaten up, even to just Golseth, who is starting to fade away from the top 2.
Ashton Woon went purple on the last lap, so that bodes well for him. That machine coming to life in the Speed Concepts Racing CS55 number 895 machine. There's Woon right there. A little bit of a gap now on Tristan Murphy, but now getting by, as we said, the first of the 3 Lando Norris karts that were in front of him for Brandon Jarsacrack Racing. He's got by Berghofer, but now does he have the pace to reel in Marco Samet and Travis Pettit? That'll be the next thing for him. If he does, he'll be able to get himself up into the top 5 now, currently running in 6th position, but as of now hasn't really ate into that gap at all here on the lap, having finally gotten by. It's still Orbezo, Schniegenberg, and Golseth out front. Golseth getting dropped there a little bit, so Orbezo and now Schniegenberg, they got themselves a gap. Pettit almost there now, Xander, to Golseth. That'll be the battle for P3.
Mind you, again, in a championship this close, 10 points goes a long way. With Ashton Woon having the fast lap of the race from 2 laps ago at a 1:11.9, a heater, mind you. Nobody in the 1:11 second bracket. That's going to be tough, the fact that that's off the table. It's the best news, though, for Colton Schniegenberg, because that means he could still finish 2nd, and no matter what happens, whether it's a Pettit or a Murphy win, he's got the title. Now Pettit moving forward is going to make the points look close, but again, a really good performance here for Colton Schniegenberg to try and put this championship away no matter what Pettit and Murphy can do. He's the only one that fully controls his own chance. And again, for Colton Schniegenberg, compared to Murphy, who got his first SKUSA win yesterday here on the Pro Tour, but numerous wins on the calendar. Schniegenberg got his first in general junior win just recently. He has never been in the conversation for a national championship in the junior ranks. He has been back and forth across the world, spent a lot of time in Europe racing in the mini category, and now back here in the States, one of the youngest drivers in junior, following Nico Orbezo on his second season here in junior, taking it to some of the veterans of the class.
Racing up front there with Pettit and Samet and Murphy, and Golseth has really allowed Woon to get back through. He's been able to get by Samet now. He closed up to them for a while there after he set his fast lap and got by Tristan Murphy. It looked like he was about 4 or 5 kart lengths back. He just wasn't really making any inroads. But now with the action that's happened, they've moved forward. Woon's now up into the 4th spot. Pettit runs in 3rd. So again, past the halfway point now, 8 laps down, 8 to go. So there's still a long way to run here. Woon back by 1.9 seconds. Pettit back by 1.3 of that front-running duo that is locked together. Orbezo and Schniegenberg. Schniegenberg, as he runs, in position to win the championship here in KA Junior. So indeed, those two front-running drivers in good position here. Whether or not Schniegenberg will risk the championship to try to go for the race win, we'll see. But both Pettit and Woon, the two drivers who started off the season battling in both X30 and KA, lining up right now. And Woon looks to be faster. He's getting a big run out of the corner here. Is it enough to make the pass here? Yeah, Pettit's going to block to the inside. Woon's going to try the over-under, not quite enough.
Ashton Woon, though, it won't matter necessarily too much what Travis Pettit does to him here in the grand scheme of things, because the more that they fight, the more that Tristan Murphy gets a huge opportunity here to mess with Pettit to fight for second. For Travis Pettit, fighting as hard as he is to keep where he was, and the points might have just made his point situation that much harder, because again, I don't know if he knows that with Colton Schniegenberg well out in front and the gap opening with 5.5 laps to go, if he would have stuck with Woon, he might have had a shot to get back by him later, but instead, fighting him there for 3rd has now opened the gap up. Woon doesn't have any dancing partners, and here comes the cavalry. Granted, Pettit's got some wingmen that are certainly bringing the fight to Murphy, but that just opened up a whole lot.
Let's see what Woon has for sheer outright pace. Yeah, of course, you'd love to have that, the draft, but look at how much he's been eating into it here. Just 1 lap of the last 5 where he lost a bit of room. He has been quicker and quicker than Colton Schniegenberg significantly. Look at it, it's over 3/10 for a couple of those laps. The battle there, of course, with Pettit, there was no gain there, but again, another pass gets him 3/10 off. But I'm telling you right now, we've still got lots of laps remaining in this one here, and Woon is the fastest driver on the racetrack. He needs to put one down here. He's able to finally get clear. No one battling behind him. Woon could have the pace to potentially reel in these leaders right now. That would make things unbelievably exciting.
I mean, I don't know if I can think of a single race for K100 Junior at this facility, a 1.1 mile racetrack, a restricted 22 horsepower motor, where one driver by himself has been able to catch a pair or a pack nonetheless. This lap right here will be the big measuring stick, the big test to see if Ashton Woon and Alex Speed, Mike Speed, Mario Lafredo, Austin Garrison, and that entire Speed Concepts Racing group, have they got Ashton Woon truly at a cut above the rest in K Junior to the point that he can outpunch how big of an impact the draft makes here at Newcastle. Because 1.8 seconds last time by at the line. It'll be the end of lap 11. 5 laps to go. Ashton Woon hunting a 2-second delta from 1.8 to 1.6. He's still faster alone than the leaders are together. Unbelievable.
Yeah, he lays down a 112 flat to a 112.2, gained a couple of tenths there. Remember, here's the things that are going to happen for Ashton Woon. First and foremost, if Schniegenberg and Orbezo start the battle, that's going to give him a little bit of help. I talked about this, that you cannot stop if you're P3. If you're closing on a group, you keep digging. because the minute they start fighting, you need to be there to be able to take full advantage of it. And again, Xander, you talked about that kind of 0.7 of a second window. When you get there, that's when that effect of the draft is going to start to play. This is a long straightaway here, coming out of 17 through the kink 18, still start of the straightaway. There's a lot of room, a lot of draft, especially here in this K8 junior category, and there's an opportunity for Woon, if he keeps digging, if he keeps having that difference in pace, couple tenths of a second a lap, that once he gets to within 0.7, all they need to do is start battling. He's going to get the draft, and he's going to be there because they're going to give up a lot of exit speed. This thing could be not just a two-driver battle before it's all said and done.
Again, the points staying stagnant. Ashton Woon, though, that would be the biggest spoiler. If he could get by Colton Schneegenberg, all of a sudden that's a 10-point swing and brings Murphy and Pettit into the conversation again. And what we've seen at points, Rob, I think almost as much as 3 seconds lost in a single lap from white lining and defending. So Colton Schneegenberg and Nico Orbezo, how much do you trust each other? And in Tristan Murphy's case here, in the drive to try and get back close to Schneegenberg, he needs a few more positions. He's gotten some, obviously up to 6. If he could get to the front of that group and get into 4th, and Woon could get past Schneegenberg, that would either put him at a tie or a slight advantage Murphy. And I'll have to check the points breakdown to be sure on it. Meanwhile, check out the back of this group. We've got some new players that have joined him as well. Look at this, Alex Chandler. Qualified all the way outside the top 20 today, Rob. And he has methodically cut his way up the field. Had a great pre-final, did not roll off the truck, or at least roll off the start here all too good. He got shuffled way down. He and William Vitor have tracked down Marco Samet, this whole PJR and lone RPM and now lone SCR kind of contingent. And they've got a huge gap with all the speed they've had to do to track him down too.
There goes Murphy to the inside there. He's going to get by Berghofer, so move Murphy up to 5th. So every time we change the position here for Murphy or for Schneegenberg, things look like they're a little different in terms of the points. 1.4 seconds for Woon back. He was over 0.2 quicker again. 1.4 back from Schneegenberg. Still, we got 3 to go, 3 laps remaining.
Oh, and a big mistake for Colton Schneegenberg. I don't know if that's better or worse for Ashton Woon's chances. I think that Woon would have been better off with Schneegenberg out there battling Orbezo, but again, for Colton Schneegenberg, he might have been told what the scenario was going into this main, knowing that he had gotten that penalty overturned, that he didn't need to win it. He just needed to finish 2nd, and he'd fully control it. 3rd would still do as long as he didn't end up letting Pettit or Murphy get ahead of him. So maybe this is the best bridge to give Ashton Woon a shot to do the unthinkable. Will his way to the front from seconds back by himself in a 100cc pack racing style division.
And Xander, remember, he was 4 wheels off the grass on the outside of turn number 6 at the start, or 5 rather, to get himself back over to turn number 6, and he's been able to fight his way back forward. So the battle further back here is fantastic as well. Pettit scrapping it out with Berghofer and a number of drivers in that group there. That's going to be 4th on back, but we'll continue to watch Ashton Woon. He was 0.7 faster than Schneegenberg on that last lap. He's only a 2nd back.
And again, he's only half a second from Schneegenberg specifically. This right here, this bridge, this draft off Schneegenberg, and notably as well, the fact that Schneegenberg is not pushing Orbezo, slowed Orbezo's pace down. Orbezo, a 72.4. Woon at a 71.95. So half a second up on the leader, 0.7 up on 2nd. As Schneegenberg tries to stay inside the toe of Orbezo, he's now bringing company. Ashton Woon, huge chance on tap here for a 10-plus position net gain from the end of lap 1.
I almost think you're right about the fact for Woon, for even to think about the race win. Had they been battling, had the Schneegenberg still been there, they would have made some moves, and the pass could have been done, and it would have allowed Woon to potentially be there for that. Otherwise, the white flag is going to fly this time by. 1 lap to go for Nico Orbezo, trying to get a race win. Here comes Woon. Will he send it here to turn 1? He will. He needs to go to 2nd. He'll send it down the inside. Book it. Woon is by. Does he have enough on the last lap to try to close up on Orbezo? He was quicker by 0.7 of a second. He's only back by 0.3.
That's what I'm saying. I think he was better off. In a normal race scenario, Rob, I think you're right. He would have been better off with Schneegenberg staying up there, but I don't think Colton was going to think race. I think he was going to think championship because he could seal it finishing P2. So best case scenario, Schneegenberg made a mistake a couple laps ago here. Fell back, gave Woon his draft early, disconnected from Orbezo, and now in this final half a lap, Ashton Woon has a chance to go from 0 to hero. He's got only a couple of passing zones left. but the easiest one is the main straightaway, and he might have a push coming from Schniegenberg to pull it off.
Indeed. Is it going to come down to the run to the line? That drag race out of turn number 17. Woon lining himself up nicely here. What a run it's been. He's had his head down for the entire drive. He's got himself right where he needs to be on Orbezo. Orbezo runs the racing line. Same comes for Ashton Woon. Here's the drag race. It's a half a length. He's got the turbo. He'll go inside. He'll go outside. Where's the move coming? Here he is, side by side to the line. And who's it going to be? Orbezo by 29 thousandths of a second.
Oh, Nico Orbezo hangs on to survive. And Colton Schniegenberg, welcome to the SKUSA Circle of Champions, my friend. Your first career U.S. national title in the junior ranks. His first time sporting a championship podium in Superkarts USA competition as well. Colton Schniegenberg, have yourself an afternoon. Great performance there. A very patient drive. So many of these young drivers ages 11 to 14 in Colton's shoes might have opted to try and get aggressive in the early going, Rob, seeing the leader right in front of you, and instead he maintained his composure, his patience. He stayed and he pushed the whole way, and now a third will more than do with his championship rivals. Travis Pettit finishing down the board in fifth. Murphy on the final lap. Something must have went way awry for Tristan Murphy. And I believe that might have just been him. Yeah, Tristan Murphy on the last lap, or maybe the lap before, it looks like, had something go wrong.
Fantastic drive again for Nico Orbezo, able to hold on to the spot. Ashton Woon in second, Colton Schniegenberg in third. There he is there, third on the track. Your new champion unofficially in this KA Junior category. Let's send it down to Caleb Viescas. He stands in pit lane.
Yeah, I'm going to snag, Colton Schniegenberg just rolled through, so we're going to get him on the other side, but he does have a half pushback at the moment. Tristan Murphy was involved in that contact like you guys mentioned, so he is at the back of the field. But, gentlemen, just didn't want to let you guys know Colton Schniegenberg with a half pushback. We'll be speaking to him momentarily.
Yeah, so, I mean, obviously we're looking at
When it comes to innovation on the track, Odenthal Racing Products leads the pack. From the highly popular EasyGP camera mounts to our tough case to GoPro case, racers everywhere trust ORP for strength, reliability, and precision. We're proud to be the #1 engine mount manufacturer in the USA. And with our new Easy Bumper Retainer System, you won't get caught out with a failed bumper bolt again. Odenthal Racing Products. Lead or get left behind.
Wins the Wisconsin Grand Prix. James Overbeck on start number 2 gets win #1 in OKN Stars.
On track or off, Brandon Jarsekrak Racing delivers elite performance. Led by 4-time Pro National Champion Brandon Jarsekrak, our team masters driver coaching, data-driven analysis, and mechanical precision at every national event. Contact us today at BrandonJarsekrackracing.com.
Macron Motorsports builds champions every day, drivers who won on the world stage. The Tillotson T4 Series is pure spec racing. Same engine, same chassis. When you win, it's because you were the best that day. Your edge is not the kart, it's the setup, the strategy, and the race team. With our Arrive and Drive program, you simply bring your gear, we provide the equipment and the championship winning support to every event. Stop wrenching, start racing. Your path to the T4 Nations Cup in Spain starts with us. For more information, contact us at macronmotorsports.net.
Well, guys, welcome back to the action here. KA Junior just wrapping up the championship, just wrapping up as well. Colton Schniegenberg, a champion in 2026, a day that started, with nervousness, with a little bit of, disappointment. Now it's all come through. You're a champion, Colton. How did that feel?
Great, honestly. I think being 11-year-old and being a champion is awesome. I mean, that race there just could have done better, but I'm happy that I'm still the champion.
Who's made it possible for you, Colton? Who'd you like to thank?
I'd like to thank Allison Racing Engines for helping me throughout the season with this amazing power. My dad, my mom for spending all this money for me to have an amazing life, and my mechanics, Dalton and Chase, for working on a great go-kart.
Well, Colton, your first junior championship. Enjoy it.
Thank you so much.
Guys.
So Caleb mentioned that Colton had the half pushback, but thankfully the gap behind was more than 6 seconds. It's 6 seconds for a full, three for a half. Won't matter. In fact, he'll still end up on the race day podium by our calculations provisionally, along with the championship. Travis Pettit and Tristan Murphy down to the wire there. And now we're getting ready to go green here with Micro Swift. That equally was close entering today, a little bit less close now off Bo Wyatt's consistency. And we'll touch on that when we get them going and racing. For now, though, you can see on screen Cohen Scott in the SRR Racing Program 292 will lead the field to green alongside Tristan Francisco. Then Wyatt, he got knocked all the way outside the top 10 back to about 14th in turn 1 of the pre-final, drove his tail off to get back forward and up to 3rd. And now he's got a chance to potentially close out the season with a race win from Road 2. We'll see what it looks like here, Rob, for main event number 4.
Field looking good for Micro Swift to roll them down here to get things underway. Aaron Likens with the green. They're into the punch-off zone, and he's got it. We're underway. Green, green, green for the drivers here in Micro.
And they're all going to survive through turns 3 and 4. Cohen Scott with the lead. Francisco slams the door shut there on Bo Wyatt for second. He'll hang on to it. Wyatt in the blue and white Bennick, easy to spot. And how about Dusty Strayer here with the leaders battling now? Francisco to the lead. Dusty Strayer back-to-back days having to claw his way up the board in the pre-final. Now with a shot to go to 3rd, maybe to 2nd. Bo Wyatt looking for the lead. Strayer up to 2nd. Now on the outside into the turn 11 hairpin. He'll stick it with a crossover around the outside now of the bend on Cohen Scott. Opening up the fighting here for P2 is going to give Bo Wyatt a big-time lead.
On a frenetic opening lap as these guys are going at it. Every opening that gets shown, they're all throwing a cart inside it. They want to make sure that they're moving forward constantly. Here comes Compatiello as well, yesterday's winner. He'll tuck it to the inside as well, coming down to turn number 17. Francisco gets up on top of the curb coming into 70. That's going to lose or hurt him a lot in terms of the run out of the corner. He's going to get passed by a couple of drivers here, I think. You'll see a couple of them are moving forward. Wiley Lee being one of them. He's going to grab a spot. There's a spot there as well for Shep Sullivan in the number 212. He gets a run to the inside. He'll move himself up in position, maybe up into the 9th spot for Sullivan. Finally, after the anxious opening lap, drivers kind of settle it in here a bit, look around, find out who you've got to work with. One driver backwards. Who is that? Is that Francisco? One of the drivers backwards into turn number 5, Xander, or 4.
What in the world has just gone wrong for Tristan Francisco, the young Canadian, entering here still with a bit. Oh, and Kip Knaus is off. Another one off as well in the cell tower. The kids got through the opening lap almost without any bruises or scrapes, and here we are losing them like flies on lap number 2 of the main event. A couple of them, I think, were stragglers at the end of the opening lap, so maybe a little further back some action went down, but here's some action in the middle. First-time race winner, Shep Sullivan in the black and yellow Vassar Sullivan entry, following Wiley Lee through, and Cohen Scott was the one that was with Francisco. Oh no, Cohen Scott, Tristan Francisco colliding at turn 5.
See if he's able to get it rolled again. We'll find out where he ends up. Have a look at this again. Just coming across the bow. Pinched in a bit there.
I don't know if he knew Tristan was there or not. He definitely didn't look over at him, and he definitely didn't seem like he knew he was there. But Tristan was far enough, obviously, and Tristan jammed on the brakes trying to cut him a break, too, and that's why he locked up and went backwards. So
might have wanted to give him a little bit more room on the entry to that corner. Coming across the bow like that, you kind of have to have a look to the inside to see who's there, especially on the second lap, knowing that everybody's getting good runs. One of the drivers we saw open things up over in the scoreboard where he fell back with Rodolfo Garza. He's back into the 10th position right now. Early laps here in Micro Swift. Let's head back down to pit lane with Caleb Jeska.
talked to Colton Schneegenberg, our championship winner, and we're talking with Nico Arbezo now, our race winner here on Sunday, the second one for you on the year. And we've talked about how long this year has been, right? 3 DNFs, an 8th place finish, a win, and you end off the year with a win. How would you rate the year, and how would you rate here ending off 2026 with a win in the Pro Tour?
So, pretty good year. I mean, winning a lot, but I just got to get more consistent. Probably like an 8 out of 10 for the year.
And again, who's made it possible for you, right? The Iron Rock team has worked hard to get you to this point.
So everyone first, my parents, my dad for wrenching for me and paying for all of this, my mom for supporting me, my brothers for watching all this, Charlie for coaching me the whole time and helping with setup, P1 Engines for the car, or the engine, good horsepower. Thank you also to OTK for great chassis, and that would be it.
There you go, Nico. Congrats on another win. Thank you.
Thank you.
Guys.
Yeah, awesome work there by Nico Arbezo. Challenge at the very end, as we know, by Ashton Woon, but he was able to get the job done. Just a couple of thousandths of a second he held on to get that race win. Indeed, he's had an up and down season for sure. EKN Driver of the Month earlier this year as well. So bottom line is Arbezo, like you said, he just wants to get more consistent. Shep Sullivan off the racetrack, and he gets it back on. Good job for Shep holding on to there. But indeed, consistency is one of the things these young drivers all have to learn, and as they do, they keep working forward. You can hear Nico say, man, if I could just been a little more consistent, I think I would have had it. Still gives himself an 8 out of 10 on the season. Love to see that, especially coming off the high of a victory here in round 6 of the Pro Tour here at the Summer Nationals at Newcastle Motorsports Park. Again, the early laps here now, working lap 4, Xander, of our Micro Swift final. Bo Wyatt, driver as your leader right now in the number 151, is the driver came in as the point leader. I think he locked it down, did he not? If I'm not mistaken, to start the day?
After the pre-final, essentially.
Yep.
Bo Wyatt driving all the way back up to 4th on track, then ended up 3rd after penalties.
That's right.
Clinched this one. The standings, though, are still hot and still changing a little bit, especially with that big swing for Tristan Francisco going backwards. Trey Sanders now has moved up into the 2nd position, so that's a huge change. And Trey now driving up with the help of Cohen Scott, who obviously got hurt just as much, or at least a fair bit, by the contact that had Francisco spun backwards in turn number 5. Cohen, after leading this field to green, is now just barely with that pass there, making himself slated in the top 5, getting past Brody Allegretta and Wiley Lee following Trey Sanders forward. But when it updates this lap, it'll get even further. The distance from Sanders to Francisco, and Dusty Strayer running 2nd. If he could get the win and Francisco isn't able to get any more positions, he could leapfrog Tristan to get the 3 plate for 2027. So Bo Wyatt, like as you mentioned, Rob, you were right. Great consistency on the year. And then that pre-final performance, had he finished back outside the top 10, it would have been a long shot, but possible. But it's indeed locked, loaded, signed, sealed, and delivered the way at Team Bennick. And Bo Wyatt right now is looking to put an exclamation point on it with the lead at the moment of a 3-car pack that is 6 seconds and counting back to this group here for 4th.
Yeah, well up the road for that group, Wyatt, Strayer, and Capiciello. Again, drivers settling in here now for the midway run through the event here, working lap number 6 of 14. Ooh, a little sideline action there. Yeah, I thought there might have been some contact. That's the driver going out there. That's the 211 of Emmett Dalton. He finds himself out in the grass coming out of the turn 6-7 double right-hand combination, the bus stop. Gets it back on nicely though, and for him at least going into that next corner, the left-hand turn 8 cell tower corner, able to kind of pinch down to the apex and likely hold off those challenging him from behind. 231 of Trey Sanders leading this next group. So the leader's long gone right now. Trey Sanders right there. Cohen Scott started up pole, running now in the 5th position. Allegretta in the 277 in 6th. Wiley Lee 7th. Emmett Dalton 8th. James Fox, Shep Sullivan rounding out the top 10 right now. Here's a move for 4th, or for 3rd rather. Cohen Scott goes back by again. Gets to the inside of Sanders.
And again, Trey Sanders is up from the back of the grid, and I'm trying to understand what we had as the issue of why he found himself, unfortunately, having to do that. Because in the pre-final, he was obviously right up there with them, and it was the manipulating the start penalty. Okay, I remember this one now. I don't know if we'll have this from that far back earlier on in the day. We might have a replay, because we did show it, I believe, when it happened, of the Micro Swift pre-final start. But I remember now, it was a very fast start, Rob. And again, Superkarts USA, much like a lot of the series that we cover now, for those viewers that are watching along at home, if this is your first SKUSA Pro Tour, this is a pretty common practice now that most of the American series have adopted. And honestly, pretty similar to a lot of the European counterparts as well, is that no matter what happens coming down to green, unless there's a really big issue with the way they're gridded, they'll go green no matter what and assess penalties, even if that includes the pole sitter who sets the pace. As they work their way over to the I-70 corner here, I'll be able to explain on the racetrack what the start procedure is. First, you have that blue cone right there. That is the commitment cone, I believe, if not the formation cone. So one of the two. And then, yeah, that one's going to be formation. Down here, these boxes left by those 4 cones is the start box. So the formation cone, meaning that they need to get doubled up by that point or immediately after, heading into I-70 to get into formation. Before that, there's a cone about the green, or probably the green corner or the scoreboard, where you can't advance position if you were laid off the grid. But in this case, Trey Sanders was handed a 15-second penalty for manipulating the start. What does that mean? Well, it means he hit the gas too early. They had to wait all the way till the main straightaway, till that start box, to fire off. Trey had them at a good rolling pace. They were doubled up after the commitment cone, after the formation cone, but he accelerated before they got to the box, and the leader has to wait till that box, so he got put to the rear, and yet he has made that an afterthought, driving through the field, getting to 4th.
Front 3 drivers still out there. Bo Wyatt, Dusty Strayer, Liam Campitello. They are 8.1 seconds away. There they are there, long gone, as the field now working its way, the remainder of the field rather, working its way through the shark fin here. So Wyatt, Strayer, and Campitello all together there right now, separated by just about a 1/10 of a second, a little over a 1/10. So those 3 drivers just kind of locked and loaded now out front as your leaders. This is that next group, Sanders, Scott, Allegretta. There are your leaders now. Let's get back on them as we're working lap number 9 now. And again, it's only 14 for the drivers here in the Micro Swift category. Bo Wyatt continues to lead. Dusty Strayer up into 2nd. Liam Campitello in 3rd. Bo Wyatt with that solid performance in the pre-final, locking down the championship, of course, unofficially. All things we say, you can as well, all unofficial. Superkarts USA has the last call on that. You never know what happens in the scales or tech barn either. 3 drivers have locked together. They can literally probably start racing if they want to here pretty soon. They got such a gap right now, but they're going to stay working together here and then line things up over the last couple laps. So we'll look for Campitello to think about it. We'll see if Strayer decides to take a shot at the lead as well. Sander, for the most part now, though, content to run nose to tail.
Which I find interesting solely because, Rob, you've got 3 different teams, 3 different manufacturers here. So it's not like you've got 2 teammates in 2nd and 3rd that are going, all right, we know we got 1,000 feet to push at least one of us past Bo. We've seen many finishes already this weekend, too, with a good enough run out of the final hairpin. 3rd place can even leapfrog the original leader, too. But you've got a nitro kart for Ryan Perry Motorsport. Yesterday's first-time winner, Liam Campitello, back there in 3rd. Of course, Dusty Strayer for Speed Concepts Racing in 2nd. And Bo Wyatt for Team Bennick in the lead. And so you've got 3 independents, if you will, 3 different parties. And whether they've worked it out amongst themselves or simply just, like you said, riding, because there's no urgency, I think, at this point in the race. You can see the gaps kind of yo-yoing throughout them, and it certainly looks like Bo Wyatt, among the 3, has a bit of a pace advantage. Here's Liam Campitello making the first move in a while, and that's probably because the gaps yo-yoed a bit too much there from Dusty Strayer. His hands were a little busy in the bus stop and in the cell tower hairpin. Liam was probably afraid of losing touch with the leader.
He's made his way to 2nd, and you can see the gap that Bo Wyatt has now. We'll see if Campitello can reel him in, because again, we're kind of knocking the laps away well into the second half of the race now. Lap 10 in the books, working lap 11 now, 14. There's that draft we've talked about, bringing Campitello right back into within a couple of kart lengths. Working our way through the schedule here as well. Micro Swift on track, KA Senior, X30 Junior, Mini Swift, and Pro X30 still to come. 4 more races on the docket for the day. And again, we'll watch this fantastic battle up front, this chess match between these three drivers in Micro Swift. Again, always impresses me the racecraft we see out of these young drivers just beginning their karting journey, whether here in the SKUSA Pro Tour or anywhere else in their career, just getting things rolling. We've seen so many great drivers, Xander, over the years as well, right? Starting in that micro, working their way through mini, into junior, eventually up into the senior ranks as well.
And for this year, to look at, as we talked about a little yesterday, Liam Compatiello, statement weekend here, getting his first career win. Dusty Strayer got the monkey off his back for 2026 early at the Winter Series. Bo Wyatt, dominant run in Arizona, finally at the beginning of the summer stretch started to rattle off some wins, but even then, the consistency he's had, the win that unfortunately he lost on a similar infraction for the start that penalized Trey Sanders, would have put this championship away before we even got to today with how dominant he was at the opening weekend in Tucson, right? He was more than 5 seconds clear of the field by himself at another track that races like a super speedway like Newcastle does. But to close out the championship here, he'll have one final test, unrelated to the points, to see if he can really make a statement that he is the class of the 2026 SKUSA Pro Tour Micro Swift field. 2.5 laps remain until we'll get to see it.
And Liam Compatiello just went quickest, so he knows it's there. He got the draft that he needed to pull back up there, using that draft that set the fast time. He's ready to rock. Dusty Strayer's not done either. The minute these two drivers start battling, he'll be there to try to poke his nose in. So this kind of calm little melody we've heard through the middle of this race is about to get a little more edgy as we come to the last few laps of the race here for Micro. Bo Wyatt, Xander has set the pace.
And notably here, Rob, by the time Tristan Francisco got back going on the road, he was so far back. He's still only at the rate that he's tracking here, maybe going to get one, if not two more positions before it's all said and done. As we take a look at the double sticks. So there's 2 laps remaining. Francisco last time by was about 2.5 seconds away from the next driver. Now we know there's going to be battling on the final lap. That's the only way that he could hope on a prayer, essentially, that he could get himself back to the vice championship honors, because he finds himself 97 points back from Trey Sanders as they run, with Sanders looking at a 4th place result and himself staring at a 19th. And again, provisional, right? We know that there has been many adjustments to the race results over the course of the day. Race control's been busy. But as they run, he would need something just shy of a miracle here for Trey Sanders' group, or the groups further in between the two of 4th and 19th, to battle so much that either some more karts go off to the side here in the next lap and a quarter, or back up to the point that Tristan Francisco could catch them. He did get one. He got Dan Duculescu last time by, and he's now within a second of Lucas Freitas Mello. But again, he's going to need about 10 spots, not just 2 or 3. So we're going to keep it loaded, locked, and ready right here on the spotlight. The spotlight driver for the 2026 Pro Tour, Bo Wyatt, clinching the championship earlier today after the pre-final. One final battle to close out the year. White flag. Compatiello in second in the 2-1-3, and Dusty Strayer in the black and white there looms in third.
Wyatt covered off the bottom. You saw the defensive run down to turn number 1. Want to make sure that didn't happen there. Little look over his shoulder. He'll do the same thing down into turn number 4. White lights into the bottom. Compatiello all the way around the outside. Book it. He'll take it, and Strayer comes with him. Love that move around the outside.
Talk about newfound confidence off your first win, Rob.
Yeah,
what a move.
Fantastic drive around the outside with him pinching to the inside like he did. And Strayer's right there. In fact, look at the Bo Wyatt's falling back a little bit here. He needs these 2 drivers to battle to get himself back in as well.
Dusty Strayer, over, under, out of 11. Compatiello dropped the tire onto the curb a little bit. It bogged the momentum. Strayer's got a nose. Bo Wyatt 3 wide on the inside. Crossover from Dusty. Dusty Strayer third to first now with 2 more major zones to go.
Dusty Strayer trying to get himself up there in the points as well. He goes to P1. Remember, folks, here comes the drag race to the line. I don't know that we'll see a move to the inside of 17. No, this is lining up for the full-on drag race. Does Dusty Strayer get it? Is it Wyatt? Is it Compatiello?
They're going to go 3 abreast. Who has the best run? 3 wide to the line at the stripe. Liam Compatiello. Unbelievable. 4 thousandths of a second over Bo Wyatt. Dusty Strayer third. And by the absolute slimmest of margins, Tristan Francisco picks up a couple. He might be able to get a few more before it's done. It'll keep Strayer in fourth in the points. And as the final few cross the line, Francisco 17th will do. It'll have him third in the final standings. Trey Sanders second, Bo Wyatt your champ, and Liam Compatiello sweeps the Summer Gnats in the closest finish of the weekend.
3 wide, 61 thousandths of a second separate first, second, and curve across the line. Back-to-back jacks for Liam Compatiello and RPM. They win again. Bo Wyatt second to cap off the championship winning season. Dusty Strayer, excellent job for him to get himself up into third. Trey Sanders fourth. He's the one that was able to come over that next group with Brody Allegretta, Wiley Lee, James Fox, Emmett Dalton, Andres Pena, and Shep Sullivan rounding out the top 10.
Don't go anywhere, folks. Kart CRG USA, K100 Senior on the other side of the break. 3 wide of the lines, a tall bar. We'll see if they can match it here for their final.
Are you ready to get behind the wheel? From Formula One to NASCAR and IndyCar, all the pros start here. For more information, check us out online at mcckarting.com or call us and go racing today.
You have to fight to pull ahead, to find your edge, to do whatever it takes to make you 1/10 of a second faster, smarter, more committed than the other guy, because you've got the kind of passion that can overcome the impossible. And we've got the most powerful performance race fuel available to help you do it. Sunoco Race Fuels. Take the lead.
Kyle, what are you doing?
It's got my new Greyhound seat.
You don't even have a cart.
Doesn't matter. I have a Greyhound.
Who the f is Kyle Cuthbertson? Doesn't even have a go-kart.
Doesn't matter.
Cuthbertson through on Turney. Turney in the dirt.
Are you looking to take the next step in your racing journey? Well, look no further than PitFit.
With 2 locations in Charlotte, North Carolina and Indianapolis, Indiana, PitFit trains drivers all the way from grassroots level karting to IndyCar and NASCAR, with top-of-the-line personalized coaching to improve physical and cognitive fitness.
For more information on programs, check out PitFit on Instagram or Facebook today.
K.A. Senior ready to go here. Ladies and gentlemen, Paulie Massimino clinched this one with a full day to go in the season, but second still to play for. Chase Hand doing everything he can to seal that number 2 plate up. He starts on the outside of the front row after qualifying on the pole. Ruben Moya, Caden McQueen, Spencer Smith, Malcutt, row 3.
Landon Brewer having a fantastic weekend here. He'll start there on the inside of row number 4, outside Edgar Rodriguez. Coming off your top 10, Diego Ramos back off the bench, having sat out yesterday. Teddy Bloom starting there as well.
A little further back. I jumped it on you there,
You
Rob.
jumped me.
I went a little fast. I'm trying to go quick on it.
Ramos 19th, Bloom 20th.
They're a little ways back. It's Cagle and Gabriel, Warren and Garrison who made his way up to the top 10, even after having 2 tires off the ground. Only want to keep all 4 on the dark stuff at the beginning of the pre-final. The Bureau Art development with Speed Concepts Racing has been pretty fun to watch, and it was fun to see as a dark horse pick yesterday. He said, well, maybe with my age, my experience, I'm not going to be as aggressive, don't as much on the line as these guys around me, but same point, I think I got a little bit of a better piece together today, enjoying the development and the learning curve here of a different piece of material under the black and white and red Speed Concepts Racing camp, but it's familiar material for the 2 on the front row. Chase Hand has been synonymous with GFC for the majority of his career. Paulie Massimino with BJR, and now at a crawl as we bring them down for the final time in the 2026 Pro Tour season. K100 Senior presented by CRG. Round 6 is green.
Not surprisingly, first and third go to 1 and 2, and a good job there for Chase Hand from the outside of the front row as Eli Warren off on the outside of turn 3. A difficult weekend does not end for the driver who calls this particular racetrack home. Big aggressive move though for Chase Hand. He's going to go up into second early. Ruben Moya there with the elbows up too. He's going to go up to third spot. Caden McQueen on top of it as well.
Yeah, mind you, Ruben Moya is fighting for every piece of real estate here he can. Having the same fate as Ramos, having to miss out on an opening round of the championship, so no drop available, but he still has a shot to be able to move up as high as at least third in a head-to-head fight right now, coming into today with Caden McQueen and an outside shot to leapfrog Hand. But with the way Chase is performing, it's going to be tough. And with the way Paulie Massimino's performed and how he has been, they'll all have to be on their game here to even just get a main event win. Paulie leading us out of the final turn. Moya with a crossover to get to second, and momentum still right up to the bumper of Paulie to end lap number 1. Let's see if he goes. No, he'll stay in line. Happy to work together.
Xander, that was a picture-perfect crossover over-under on Chase Hand there for Ruben Moya. Just tucked it in, just crossed the rear bumper. He was already beside him and had the spot done by the time he exited the corner. And, of course, Chase Hand knew what was happening. There's a move to the lead now, so within half a lap, he's gone to the lead, and that's like Matt Cagle, I think, went off on the outside of 5.
Off the bumper of Garrison. Cagle trying to tuck in line and just misjudged it, hooked the tire, and went for a wild ride. Far from the first one, and probably not the last that'll end up going on that path here this weekend. But Ruben Moya, your new leader here, folks, through turn number 11, out in front of about a 5-pack. With Paulie now going back to the front with help from Caden McQueen, Chase Hand, and Isaac Malcutt looming now in 5th. Getting to the lead group much earlier than yesterday is the 970 machine with a good start here, up 1 spot overall.
All right, finally lining things up here. Let's get to work. Massimino, McQueen, Moya leads him down the straightaway here. A little bit of a breakaway. Looks like about 6 drivers in the breakaway. Then we've got another 5 in the fight further back. So I think that's, say, likely Mick Gabriel. I thought, yeah, making the move to the inside. I was waiting for his name to populate there on live time. You can see indeed that was Mick Gabriel in the 8th spot. Gafera up a spot as well there. Diego Ramos up 9 spots for Diego. Remember, I mentioned him being 19th. I thought it was 9th. It ended up being 19th as we had a screen change on me there. But listen, he's finally got back to where I was talking about. He's into the top 10 now.
Yeah, he has about gotten to where we announced he should be. And he's probably going to go a little further. He's got a lot of speed in that PSL Bureau Art, it looks like, even missing out on a day of action. Caden McQueen, by the way, your leader now. 3rd different leader here over the first 3 laps. Moya up to 2nd, back to 3rd. Massimino, 2nd consecutive lap. He goes back in the positive direction here with a move in turn number 13. And that tightens everyone up behind, brings Hand back close again. Garrison looming as he continues a slow charge up the leaderboard.
Xander Ramos did get by Caleb Gaffera there, got a good run out of turn number 8, was able to tuck through and get the job done, I believe, over in the turn 11, the green corner, so he gets the job done in there, so he's up into the 9th spot now, making 8 as he's even up another position here.
Indeed, Diego Ramos, Caleb Gaffera, and Matt Cagle has rebounded, by the way. He's still there in the GFC Formula Works livery as Ruben Moya. Wow, that is early to have a hero-level move like that. Caden McQueen wanted second. Moya said, all right, if it's go time, I'll go. Yeah. Sends it on Massimino, and now we're bumper to bumper again, all the way back to what looks to be Spencer Smith in 12th.
Xander, I think that McQueen was already releasing to the inside. He was going to go for that pass, and boom, straight to the apex goes Ruben Moya. He has been aggressive in his attacks on the lead here in the opening couple laps. We've only worked 3 laps. We're working lap 4 now. Another pass there as well for Ramos. He's going to be able to get by Gabriel. So Diego Ramos, he's the driver on the move right now. He's got himself up to 7th.
Ruben Moya, his nickname when he first came over here that we learned of was the Spanish Salmon, but I'd like to argue that it might as well be the Spanish Shark. It doesn't take much. He opened up in the U.S. here with a lot of aggression when we first met him at the Super Nationals a year and a half ago. And since then, he has learned to play to the tune of the drivers over here. And there's been plenty of points where he has been impressively calm and patient. But I feel like McQueen wanting to go by him, and as much movement as there's been up front has awakened the aggression. He has not been shy and not been putting a high bar for anyone to turn the wick and say, all right, if we're going to battle without any thought of trying to work together and get away, you don't got to tell me any more than that. We'll go. And it's worked out because he's still second. McQueen is just fighting to get himself back to 3rd now.
Yesterday's winner, Donovan Bonilla, started back in 21st. He's now up into 11th spot now. He's right there on Caleb Gaffera to try to see if he can't get his way through. There's Gaffera. Let's have a look there. Wait for the RPG machine of Bonilla to show its face here momentarily. He's kind of leading that next group with Spencer Smith and Jose Alejandro Halfin behind him. But he's on the move for sure. Bonilla, a 112.7, 8/10 faster than the leader on that last lap.
Yeah, I mean, when they're all fighting like this and the draft's keeping them all together, Donovan Bonilla could put together a drive that many of the veterans in the top 10 have put on themselves here at Newcastle. This place, the way you're able to kind of jump, almost hopscotch from one pack to another, especially if the lead group is fighting a bit and slowing themselves down, you can start from pretty far back and get up into the conversation for the race win before it's all said and done. Austin Garrison's had one of those drives many times over here at this place, and there was a move for him to go by Hand. Much shorter path to the front starting P10 for Austin Garrison, the reigning Pro X30 champion in his first start, returning to the seat in 2026. But Donovan Bonilla from 22nd could certainly get there. He's almost arrived at this group. Diego Ramos from 19th is now officially up to 6th with that pass on Malkut. And Malkut's now going to drop back to the 8th spot there as Cagle works his way past him.
Good stuff for Diego Ramos. He is moving forward. And again, with all the racing he's got happening in front of him, he's been able to just kind of still pick his way through, and he's not really losing that much gap to the leaders as well. That's the key thing, able to get by Malkut. And you see him now trying to get up on the wheel. The next for him would be Chase Hand if he's able to get there.
Moya, a little bit of a fade there at the end of the straightaway, keeping the pack at bay. Covering low there into turn number 5. Ruben Moya still hanging on. Massimino had to do the same once he got backed up to McQueen to keep everyone in tow. And again, center track through the cell tower. Just the leader defending ever so slightly is bringing Bonilla now. He's up to 9th, either 9th or 10th right at the back of the pack. Was 9th across the timing loop last time by. Malkut ahead of him here. He'll be the next one as Ramos makes the pass on Hand. The off-pole sitter now outside the top 5. And Ramos now closes up to McQueen and Garrison going at it for the 3rd spot. Austin Garrison, highest he's been this weekend.
Solid overtake to the inside, the scoreboard there for Garrison. You can see We're not having any kind of gap here at all right now.
I wonder, too, what the winds look like. I'm trying to keep an eye when we go down the straight at the handful of feather flags here to see if there is any bit of a headwind. Obviously, the biggest straightaway, the only big straightaway here with the shark fin having the cut in it. If there's any kind of headwind here as the cloud cover continues to remain here at the Summer Nationals, that would be a huge, huge impact, especially for someone as tall in the seat as Ruben Moya. Like a sail here compared to even some of the vets behind him like Massimino and Garrison.
You saw Bonilla have a look at Matthew Cagle on that last lap. Not quite enough to get it done over in turn number 1. So he checked back in. That's the fight for 7th and 8th now. Here's a move to the inside. Massimino goes back to the lead over in Cell Tower. Going to bring Garrison up into 2nd. A methodical march forward for Austin Garrison as he is up from 10th now into the 2nd spot. Good stuff. McQueen's going to go by Moya as well. So Moya's going to go back a couple of spots. He was the leader only a lap and a half ago. He puts himself back into P4 now with Ramos right there. So Ramos is moving forward. Garrison's moving forward. Massimino, though, still holds the point.
It might be a Newcastle, but with Paulie Massimino and Austin Garrison being as good buddies as they are off the racetrack, and neither one essentially having any outside factors to play for today, it reminded me of seeing that move happen when it did for Paulie, and Garrison shoving him now of shades of Talladega Nights. Shake and bake going down here between Paulie Massimino and Austin Garrison. That gap now up to 6/10 back to Moya.
Xander, speaking of shaking, you could see that McQueen was shaking his head when Moya went by him coming down into turn number 1. You know that McQueen's thinking, what are we doing here right now? Why are you going by me here when we're trying to catch back up to the leaders who have pulled away to a bit of an advantage? So this has really been kind of about Massimino up front, but the drivers who have moved forward. We talk about the fact that the Garrison moving forward. How about Garrison from 10th up to 2nd? How about 19th up to 3rd for Diego Ramos? He is on a move right now. What a fantastic drive. Up 15 now for, 16 for Diego Ramos.
And again, Matt Cagle as well, now moving up to 4th with that pass on Moya. Matt Cagle dropped all the way well outside the top 10 after getting shuffled off the road. Incidental contact when Garrison went by earlier at turn number 5. He's rebounded nicely past a number of go-karts. So a lot of movement as the sun pokes back out here on the main straight. Garrison still shoving with everything he's got to keep the rest of the pack at bay and start to spread this race out. And it certainly has calmed things down from the aggressive driving we were seeing earlier, which is good news for most of the field, hopefully having some room to show their stuff and actually get pace to pull away from drivers they make moves on versus having everybody stacked up. The only driver probably that was hoping that lead group would stay closer together for longer is the one that we've got center punched on the screen between Moya and McQueen. That's Donovan Bonilla, because he had just gotten up to the back of the pack, was starting to make a couple of moves, and he's looking like he's teeing up another one right here. This will be for 6th on the road into turn 11 if he goes, and he does. Dono to the inside of Moya.
Yeah, the two big movers, of course, Donovan Bonilla and Diego Ramos. Ramos up 16, and it's now 15 for Bonilla. Look at this stuff.
Spencer Smith kind of got in the back of McQueen. McQueen is having a rough Sunday. He is frustrated right now. Caden McQueen had a shot to be able to end up 2nd in the points. That has about gone out the window here now with the leaders so far gone. He needed to basically get up and win the race and hope Chase Hand would slide backwards. Hand has only slid back to 5th. He's ahead of him. He's going to pull by about 80 points or so as Garrison now takes over here at turn number 1 with 6 laps to go, realizing that Ramos is closing by a lot.
Chase Hand actually able to get by fellow GFC driver Matthew Cagle as well, so Hand back up into the 4th position. Now whether or not he has the type of pace he needs to potentially roll up here in the lead, or still need them to start battling, because now we're into the final couple of laps here. Ramos going to the inside as well. Book it. He's through on Massimino. Ramos goes into 2nd. This march from 19th for Diego Ramos, absolutely epic right now as he's got himself up into 2nd.
He is so good here, Rob. I mean, last year secured his first career American championship in K100 Senior. At this very weekend, he swept the weekend. He got his first Pro X30 win here, his only to date in the Pro Tour. And now, one of the fastest karts on the racetrack, still owning the fast lap of the race, that 10-point bonus on a day he needs it. He has now leapfrogged Ruben Moya in the standings by just a couple of points. He gets up to the win. All of a sudden, he might steal the 3 plate away from McQueen. As we watch them now with 5 to go, Diego Ramos continues the march. Here we are, all the way to the bumper of Garrison. I thought he was going to go for it in turn 3, but a wise Ramos here. All 3 of these drivers spent so many years racing against each other. I don't think they're in no rush at this point to flex the muscle or the ego. They're going to keep holding the gap back to the GFCs.
Yeah, thinking about that, Chase Hand was about 3/10 quicker than Garrison on that last lap. He's trying to roll himself in here. He's only 9/10 of a second behind the tail of that group, Massimino. So Hand's leading Bonilla and Cagle, McQueen a little bit further back. So there's another trio right there. And Donovan Bonilla, like Diego Ramos, up 17 now. Bonilla works his way into the chase position, getting by Chase Hand. So he leads that group that's trying to see if they can't reel in the leaders. If they do start battling up front, I don't think that it's out of the question that 4th, 5th, and 6th could be in this as well.
There's a look at the live points right now. So see this. Ramos, with that pass, he was 376 back. Now he picked up 10 getting by Pauly. He'll pick up another 20 here to get by Garrison. If McQueen slides any further down the board, Diego Ramos could pip him. It won't take a lot. It would still take a few more spots beyond the race win for Diego, as he had a little look there, kind of narrow in turn 3. I thought he was wanting to tee up something on Austin, but he decided better on it. 4 to go, 3 the next time by. They hit the timing loop for your top 3. And the last lap, thanks to the pass by Bonilla, they've maintained the margin of a second. But Dono, as fast as Diego has been, is certainly tracking that the moment that he finds himself, I think, inside of the drafting window for these two, he could very easily, or these 3, sorry, he could very easily take that 10-point bonus away.
Yeah, remember, he took that win yesterday with Rawlson Performance Group winning both of the senior single-speed categories with Bonilla and Gus Lawrence. This is good stuff right now for Bonilla. He is really rolling here this weekend in KA. Does he have what it takes here to be in the position when they start battling? The laps are winding down, working lap 13 to 16. Bonilla's getting even closer. You talked about it being about 7/10 of a second. He was 9/10 back on that last lap. Where is he here? And he's going to love this. This is going to give him a great opportunity to get closer.
Oh, Russ showing there a little bit for AG. He was out of shape when they went by him. Kart got out from underneath him.
Just a little mix-up there, little slide after they went by the inside. That's going to bring Bonilla right up there as well. Yeah, Bonilla within Kart length now of Garrison. And that's Chase Hand coming. That's Matty Cagle coming. We may have ourselves 6 drivers in this lead pack here soon.
And of all 6 of them, right, only 2 have yet to score a major national win here. Chase Hand would be the first of the 2. Matt Cagle, the rookie, the other. Could they play spoiler? Could these 4 vets, Supernats wins, Pro Tour championships across both 100cc and 125 competition, could they allow the 2 drivers in 5th and 6th to spoil the party? Or will Diego Ramos, Massimino, Garrison, and Bonilla keep it amongst themselves? We're going to find out here when the double sticks come out what this really will look like. The tempo has been aggressively calm, and I think that's about to change. Here comes Pauly looking for the race lead.
Yeah, it's go time. Here comes Massimino to the inside. He'll bring Garrison with them. Bonilla goes to P3. Ramos back into the 4th spot. Chase Hand right there in 5th. Cagle's dropped off about 7 or 8 car lengths in the back. As I said, go time here. Look at this field. Look at the drivers in this group. 5 drivers. Unbelievable talent. I love seeing this kind of stuff. Massimino back to the lead again. Garrison right there as they ran for a number of laps. But it's Bonilla, who is now up 18 from his starting position.
Nearly every single win in Donovan Bonilla's career has come at a race that was filled with chaos up front. Do we see fireworks here? And the driver from Mexico slipped through it all to score a sweep of the weekend in K100 Senior. Chase Hand trying to make some magic happen on the high side. Not there, but Cagle might get the upper hand on Ramos, and he does. Move the kid up to 4th. Massimino still holding strong up front here as Bonilla starts to tee up on Garrison.
Yeah, great situational awareness there for Matty Cagle, able to see what was going on with Chase Hand trying to make the move. He went around and was able to get the spot done. Here we go on the straightaway. This is it, folks. Time to get things going. White flag flying this time by. Massimino will lock down to the bottom of the racetrack. Big wide run as well. How much contact would he get? Chase Hands trying to come through. He'll go to the inside. Is he going to get a spot away from Diego? I don't think he will. He'll get pinched out over in turn number 3. Still Massimino leads. Bonilla to P2.
Donovan Bonilla starting in the back half of the field. Now in the fight for the race win. The same for Diego Ramos compared to the driver who started on pole, Paulie Massimino. Headed to the cell tower. Paulie trying to put in the same vein as what we witnessed earlier this afternoon, Mateus Morgado's picture-perfect season, a near picture-perfect 6-round season in KA Senior. He might have a near max points haul, and he didn't even need to run today. Half a lap to go. Bonilla is going to need something wild or a heck of a push on the final straight here to make it go, because Paulie has been inch perfect. Cagle and Ramos. Here comes the rest of the cavalry, too, with all this defensive driving. The back half of the top 10's arrived.
Get ready for the drag race to the line. Do we see a move to the inside? We don't. In fact, Bonilla's going to back it up a little bit so he gets a run. Cagle's going to try to get a run here as well. He's right there with Garrison. Inside goes. Here's the drag race to the line. Bonilla to the inside. It's Garrison to the outside. 3 wide across the line. And who's it going to be? Austin Garrison by 46 thousandths of a second.
Oh, welcome back, Austin Garrison. Last year on this very weekend, the Sunday afternoon belonged to Garrison with a bent tie rod in 17th to score his Pro X30 championship. He wins this one in a 3-wide photo finish. Funny enough, Rob, his only other SKUSA Pro Tour Summer Nationals K100 Senior start, a win in a photo finish at this finish line a couple of years ago.
How about that? 65 thousandths of a second separate first, second, and third. That 3-wide run. Bonilla tried the inside. Massimino held the center. Garrison went to driver's right, just enough to sneak it through.
Austin Garrison back like he never left. A year removed from his Pro Tour championship right here at New Sports Park on his return to the seat on a package that was unfamiliar to him coming into the weekend. He's going to take a win in KA 100 Senior. Austin, this weekend, I know it hasn't been easy coming back in racing. I can see the sweat. I can see the hard work that you put in this weekend to be back and a victory for you. How does that feel?
Feels great. Was supposed to be retired, but I guess I'm back in the saddle now. It was awesome, dude. We tried so hard this weekend. Good job. We're on the rail this weekend. We've been fine tuning it. Me and Dig have been going back and forth on information, and we just kept on working. Thursday we were kind of having problems, and Friday got better. Yesterday was really good, and today was even better. So can't thank the team enough. We tried really hard for this. It's awesome.
And I know you started at the back of the pre-final, right? Yeah. Making all these moves, getting up here. Is this pretty sweet up there with some of your victories?
Oh, 100%. I literally started dead last in the pre-final. Coming out to win is insane. It is insane. So, yeah.
Enjoy it, Austin. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
A phenomenal Sunday here for Austin Garrison and Speed Concepts Racing, and a heck of a race to pull that one off as well. 65 thousandths between the top 3, Rob.
There's a lot of guys that think coming in here, you can see the kind of look on their face. They were all congratulating Austin, but there's 5 guys that thought, or 6 guys probably thought they had a chance to win this thing. Literally, in those last couple of laps, I think everybody figured they had a shot at going for it. And Bonilla thought it was happening for sure.
What a race here for Kart CRG USA KA 100 Senior. Austin Garrison, 0 to hero here, starting at the back of the field, even involved in a crash at the start of that pre-final. And then here, the final lap, Paulie Massimino, inch perfect all the way through. And watch this moment, not only going into the corner here, he made sure he backed up the corner. He actually tried to drag the brake for a second to make sure that nobody had too big of a run. Bonilla, frustrated with it, it broke his momentum. Garrison had backed up enough. He had even more momentum than both of them. And with no help needed, by himself, Garrison, the winner in KA Senior.
Well, listen, that's what it was, right? That little drag of the brake for Massimino. Bonilla had to get out of it. Garrison didn't. Garrison was able to drift to the outside, stayed on throttle. You can see how much gap there was. Opportunity for him to get that run to the outside.
We'll let the the X30 Juniors warm up. We'll be back in just a moment.
IAMI USA West is the official West Coast importer for IAMI engines and parts. Our dedicated and knowledgeable staff have a combined 50+ years experience in the sport and can help you with all of your needs. Call us today or visit our website to find your local dealer to shop.
So as the pack gets ready to go here for Rollison Performance Group X30 Junior, 16 laps back on the board once again. Maxwell Macha hunting a big-time afternoon here in Indiana. Starting alongside Ashton Woon, Marco Salmon, and Tristan Murphy. Row number 2.
I feel like we did this already once. Let's do it again, right? These same names ready to battle it out. Row 3, Travis Pettit alongside Colton Schniegenberg, newly crowned champion. And then it's Royce Vega and Enzo Di Gennaro, row 4. Diesel Bazanski and Paxton Romero on row number 5.
As they roll down the front stretch. In total, 25 plus for X30 Junior. Your first, again, 10 starters there outlined by Rob. A couple notables we'll get to, like Grayson Walcott, Nathan Golseth from the rear that were fighting up front earlier. Here we go for X30 Junior.
Clean start for Maxwell Macha. Feels good through 3. Got to get through 4 though. And there we go. Now we can start to see the defenses down into turn number 4. Drivers trying to lock down any gains that they made. Macha leads. Salmon up into the 2nd spot. Woon goes to 3rd. 4th, I believe now, is Murphy. Pettit trying to find his way back into position here. He'll slice his way through. He gets by Murphy on the exit of turn number 8. Back over to 9. He's going to throw it down the inside as well to get, I think, to the inside of Woon. So Pettit up on the wheel early here. Maxwell Macha will lead, but it's a 2 BJR drivers, Xander, now 2nd and 3rd.
Well, it was actually the inside of Macha. He got past in the cell tower and then now is all the way back to 4th with Pettit's move. It's Ashton Woon in the lead.
Damn.
Yeah, with a nice move. Marco Salmon up to 2nd, Pettit into 3rd here as X30 Junior rolls to the I-70 corner. And a familiar sight here with a bit of defending on the opening lap's going to keep that pack mostly closed. Diesel Blazonski right where the split forms. Salmon wants the low side. He'll almost kiss the grass. Woon won't give it to him. And in fact, that's a lot of dirt that just collected on the 775's left side tires. Look at Tristan Murphy picking up some pieces here. He gets by Macha for 4th. Woon doing everything he can to hold him back. Look at this attempt in turn 4. Oh, man.
Yeah, Woon using all of the exit curbing coming out of that corner as well as Pettit through the inside shot there. Oh, Salmon's going to go 4 wheels up. That'll be tough to get it turned, get it rotated into turn number 6. So Salmon takes a ride through the grass as well. A lot of action here. You wonder, again, missed that pass on Macha. You want to keep it open. You want to run that open line so you're able to get out of the corner cleanly. But when you do, as we said there, as got corrected, it was indeed Woon that went through, bringing both of those BJR drivers through. Macha, again, losing a couple more spots here. He's got to stop the bleeding and lock things down because Murphy just got through, as did Royce Vega in the 739. So, man, a lot of action here. And Macha, who had such a great start there in the opening, at least half of a lap falling backwards.
And look at this. Marco Salmon was off the road. He's off the road again, trying to hang on for dear life with Bazanski. Now he's back on the outside. Meanwhile, here's a look at the live points. Watch this update now with Pettit and Woon 1st and 2nd. How close. Oh no, Salmon onto the side of Bazanski in front of the field. Too much chaos going on. But to update you, Ashton Woon, your leader. Travis Pettit now up to 2nd. He controls his own destiny as things stand. 20 points to the good over Ashton Woon. And it should update actually down to 10, 10 points for Woon, solely because of the fast lap bonus difference. But again, still for Travis Pettit, P2 is all he needs. Doesn't need to win this one if he wants to win the championship. I know last year, talking with Travis here at Newcastle at the Summer Nats and then watching the rest of the summer go, it wasn't until the last of the Big 3 series, Rob, that he finally was able to get a national championship. He was on the podium for many now as he takes over the lead from Woon with a crossover there. But he was so bummed he wasn't in it here at the Summer Nats, that he wasn't the number 1 plate in either division, because he had a great shot at both. His first season aboard a TB kart, then his first real effort was last year. second year in the division. Now, a couple of vets here between himself and Woon. Woon's second season in junior, the 3-plate. Now he wants the 1-plate to go out with, and he won't let Pettit get it easily here.
Yeah, he knows he's got to bring the rest of the field back in, too. Pettit finishes second, it's going to get the job done. Maxwell Macha trying to work his way back forward after getting unceremoniously pushed backwards on that opening quarter over turn number 11. Now he's back to P3. Royce Vega now up into the 4th spot. 6-driver breakaway with Schniegenberg in there as well. But yeah, indeed, watching Woon get himself back out front here. Pettit slotting into the 2nd spot. There's your 6 drivers who've stretched away. A significant gap now back, though, to the next group, which I believe is Aston White and Braden Wagner.
And Woon there in the back and forth with Macha had Pettit looming on the right side. Travis nearly got knocked off the road as they were focused on each other. Pettit back to 3rd, Woon to the lead, and Colton Schniegenberg along with Royce Vega. Vega's first weekend with Ryan Perry Motorsport leads that sea of 3 red and white machines past Pettit, and now the championship goes in favor of the 3-plate, and he's got help here, and Macha pushing him away.
Ashton Woon and Maxwell Macha linking up. The battle further back, of course, trying to get by. Pettit has Vega now up into 3rd, Murphy into 4th. All those RPM drivers there, both Murphy and Schniegenberg able to get by Pettit as well. Pettit back into 6th. Again, 1.4 seconds now back to Wagner. Braden Wagner running in 7th. Aston Wyatt in 8th. Mateo Calderon 9th. And William Vitor rounding out your top 10. Still very early in a 16-lapper here for X30 Junior. Well, we got a couple of drivers trying to break away. They got 7/10 on Royce Vega.
Yeah, they've got a small window right here, hoping for a pass between these teammates that doesn't look like they're in any urgency to make to try and get outside of the 1 second delta, that draft window that we always talk about. Royce Vega is doing a phenomenal job here, driving and willing his way forward. Let's see what that gap is this time by. Pettit now back up to 5th, will bring the points close again. He'll still need a few more spots, though, to get back out in front with Woon leading the way. So the gap was over 7/10. It comes down by a matter of hundredths there with Murphy going purple and Vega just a touch quicker than race leader Ashton Woon. So it's not all gone quite yet. Pairs of 2s, though, forming for the front 6. It was .787 down to .715 down to 693 there with the 200th difference from 2nd to 3rd on the road. And then it's about a 1.5 seconds until you find Aston Wyatt. We mentioned at the beginning of the broadcast as well in terms of the drivers to keep tabs on, starting from way back. How about Nathan Golseth and Grayson Walcott starting to move together up the field? They've cracked the top 15, up 8 and 9 spots apiece. They are rolling, and there's a few more ahead of them with some big-time gains, like Braden Wagner, who's up 6 to the 8th spot as well, as we get a bit of calmness here in the pace battle between the lead group.
Yeah, and the big thing is that essentially all the drivers up front, top 4, all laying down 70.0 second laps, 70 flats. So nobody stretching away in terms of that. Now we'll see whether or not the front runners here, as these karts start to come in, those setups going to start playing in here now. See who gets quicker, who's down into the, there's a 69.8, 69.8, 69.8, 69.8. There you go. Everybody up front running 69.8s on that last lap. So very stationed in terms of the gap between 2nd and 3rd, about 7/10 of a second.
Looking at the gaps here, there you can see the difference between Woon versus Vega over the last 3 laps especially is what you really got to keep your eyes on, because of course there were some passes here and there, and that's where it's a net gain just marginally in the favor of Royce Vega. Now this lap Murphy's faded back a bit, and Travis Pettit has found some serious speed. In fact, he's going to use it with a pass there in turn 11 to get up to the 4th spot.
Again, he knows he's got to move forward, but he knows he has time to do it as well. You can see up front that the leaders are not stretching away. This isn't one of those situations where you're in a battle there for 3rd on back and the front 2 drivers are stretching away. Vega's doing a tremendous job right now with the pace to get himself forward here. Another one of the RPM drivers head down. And I think he may have made a little bit of inroads there, it felt like. Woon has a look over. He gets a feel for it. Xander was 7/10. You think so?
I think so. Yeah, let's look. We'll let it update here as it crossed the line. And yeah, big-time gains. 2/10, nearly 3 up to the race leader. More notably, though, Travis Pettit, 10 points. The bonus look at the points right now, folks. If we take a look at the top 5, you will be amazed. For the first time since we've been looking at it here all day long in a class that is close, this is a tie. Travis Pettit, 10-point bonus, and that lap pass he made a lap ago on Murphy has him tied with Ashton Woon in the live leaderboard.
Fast lap of the race for Travis Pettit, 109.5.
And if he gets the third, he'll be okay with that fast lap bonus, even if the rest of it holds and Ashton Woon wins out. So Pettit, second or better no matter what. Third or better with a fast lap would still put him good. Here he goes for third. And that right there, that pass just put him on the podium, put him one spot higher on the race, and it just put him in control of his destiny again in the championship conversation right at the halfway mark. 8 laps down, 8 to go. A 2-driver breakaway, about 6 car lengths, 3 more, and then Colton Schniegenberg trying to hang on before a huge gap back to Aston Wyatt. Murphy now takes those 10 points back out of Pettit's hands. It essentially just undid Travis's pass. They remain tied now.
Oh my goodness, this is a barn burner here for the championship in X30 Junior. Just 2 more races to go after this one here as well, as Mini Swift and Pro X30 will cap off this year's Pro Tour. This one's far from done as well. Working lap number 9, still a lot of laps to go. We're just past the halfway point now. Woon doing everything he can being out front. If he gets the fast lap, that would be big, but fast lap seems like it's gonna be more leaning towards the driver who gets a draft, Xander. That's not what Ashton Woon has out front.
I agree, Rob. I think Ashton Woon is far from in a position where he can bank on getting that 10-lap bonus, as good as he's been, right? I mean, he has led nearly every single lap of this main event after the opening couple laps were a bit chaotic. He has not put a single wheel wrong. We haven't seen a bit of dust kicked up of any kind. Tires look nice and clean. His lap times have been as consistent as you can be, with the race naturally progressing to go faster and faster. We're starting to see all of the lap times begin just now to plateau a little, but even still in lap 9, a handful of them in that main group putting their personal best, including Woon, finding another 1/10 of a second now to a 69.5. But the bad news, Pettit in the draft got to a 69.39, closing in. The only good news, Murphy still holds the best lap. He's 300ths faster than Pettit, and now he's going to use that pace to get by his teammate for 4th.
Yeah, he slides by Vega over in turn number 8, so Murphy on the move again, coming off that big win yesterday, his first SKUSA Pro Tour triumph. Does he have enough speed to close back up here and make it a 4-driver battle up front? Because right now, looks to me like Pettit getting close. Matcha has been incredibly patient, has not yet made the move, but maybe starting to think a little differently, Xander, when he has a look over the shoulder and sees Pettit right there.
Yeah, Maxwell Matcha, patience all the way. There was the first look over the shoulder, coming out of the final turn and down the main straightaway. Woon to Matcha to Pettit. Short gap back to Murphy, and right on cue, Rob, here he goes.
Matcha to the inside, he'll take the spot.
Was that not worthy of a book it? I was trying to give you that one.
I appreciate that. I was like, do I do it or do I wait? I don't know.
Waiting's a good call. They're going at it now.
There it is.
Got a lot of life left here. We got to save ourselves with the last few laps, because this is going to quickly become 6. Could easily become 7 here if Schniegenberg can close up a little more. That's 6 for sure, and there's a long way back to the next group, but we've seen gaps bigger than this even come down in less than 2 laps. We've still got 5.5 to go. Pettit now in the lead.
Yeah, that was a short-lived time out front for Maxwell Matcha. In fact, he's been pushed back significantly to P5. Watch for the move here. Here comes Tristan Murphy to the inside. Book it. He gets through to take over the lead.
There you go, Tristan Murphy, Nashville, Tennessee's own. Getting some life going here in the Ryan Perry Motorsport entry, leading the way. Pettit knows the situation. Watch as it updates here with him back down to second. Unless he pulls out and gets the lead back at the line, it's all going to change here in a moment. Here he goes. He's trying. Almost in the dirt. Kicks up a puff of dust. Murphy blocking low. The pack, the cavalry, a whole straightaway away. They could get a whole lot closer any minute. And as they update now and the points calculator runs, Travis Pettit in second, Woon in third. That'll open the delta a little bit. Just a hair in the championship fight. But again, Ashton Woon, he knows that he needs to get ahead of Pettit and then put at least a go-kart between them to be safe, because he now finds himself in third, 50 away. from the provisional points leader.
Royce Vega now the driver up into the 4th spot. 5th, is that Schniegenberg in 5th, or is that Macha making a move to the inside again, 2 for P4. A lot of action here behind these leaders. There goes Pettit back to the inside again. Woon's going to over-under them both. Does he have enough to get to the inside? He looks close. He does.
We were a little late to show you the entry to the corner, but Travis Pettit was all the way up along the grass and the curb going into 13. He's got dirt all over his tires having to go that low, so he's really vulnerable. They're going to take advantage. Advantage goes back to Woon as Pettit falls all the way to go 5th, now 6th. And again, it'll take a moment before it populates for sure. The leaderboard is doing everything it can to keep up. It's about to get a whole lot more work put in and exercise because 7th, 8th, 9th, they were at one point more than 4 seconds away. They are now 2 seconds away. Marco Samet, William Vitor, Enzo Di Gennaro, Nathan Gulseth. Advantage Woon by 18 as they run with Pettit down to 6th.
This is unbelievable stuff back and forth. You think you're out, but you're never out of it when it comes to this racetrack. You got to keep digging. That was a big move there. Trouble, as we said, pass to the inside for Murphy, and then the full over-under in the scoreboard here on that last lap allowed Woon to take the position. This is big stuff for Ashton Woon. He goes back out front, Pettit back into 6th. So press the reset button, folks. We've got 4 more laps to go in a 16-lapper, working lap number 13. And the leader stretching out a little bit here, top 3, as Xander's been talking about. That next group is coming, led by Samet.
The worst news imaginable here for Travis Pettit, except for this outcome that just happened. Marco Samet now to the front of it. Oh, big contact. Colton Schniegenberg up and onto the side of William Vitor. Oh, man. That pack, it was a looming storm, and it erupted before it got to the leaders. All that work in progress now, and we've got a 3-car breakaway. And Travis Pettit needs a Hail Mary. 2.5 laps to go. Woon in command. Pettit has his teammate in tow, Vega, who has already once before in this main tracked down the leaders, but a near 2-second delta to overcome. Look at this. Take a look at this here, Rob. Oof.
Yeah, just 2 drivers trying to get into the same spot on the racetrack, and Schniegenberg kind of throwing it in there as well, climbed up the side of him.
It starts here. Schniegenberg got on the brakes good. He didn't anticipate getting the contact from the Paralin of Enzo Di Gennaro, who just misjudged it. Gets into the back of Colton, sends him up and onto the side of Vitor, who was a complete innocent bystander, and again, nothing the two could do.
And Vitor was running the outside. He'd already released. He was getting ready to roll around the outside, potentially grab a spot, contact from the back. Those 2 drivers up on top of each other. Tough one for Vitor, tough one even more for Schniegenberg as well. He's down to 15th after that contact. 3-driver breakaway with 2 to go. Woon defends to the inside. Here comes the over-under from Macha. He's going to go to 2nd. Maybe even the lead. He does. He goes to P1. What a beautiful pass there for Macha. Saw the defense on the inside. The over-under. He takes the lead over in turn number 2.
Temperature starting to rise again on track, and physically, literally on track as well. Sun back out. I wonder, too, with how out of shape Ashton Woon was, whether it was not just the dirtiness of being on the inside to defend for the first time in a minute, but the fact the surface is getting so hot. These tires are starting to get a little bit greasy. The surface a little greasy as well. Haven't seen really this kind of brightness, this level of sunshine in a moment. And we know the rest of the field's duking it out. That was a dust cloud they just drove through in the kink. 1 lap to go this time by. Macha versus Woon versus Murphy, backing up towards the likes of Pettit and Samet. Again, Woon needs a couple go-karts between himself and Pettit, even if he wins the race. It's heads-up fighting here for the championship and the race win in X30 Junior.
Again, lapping it down here, 1 to go. White flag will fly this time by. Macha goes back to the lead once again. There it is. 1 to go. He'll go to the bottom of the racetrack. Woon's going to open up a little bit. He'll try to cover him. He does. He passes him down into the braking zone. Woon goes to the lead. Pettit's going to go back to P3.
But it's the worst news because Travis Pettit 2 laps ago got the fast lap of the race. He's up to 3rd. He can win it from here. He won't know that. Murphy, no, Vega, off the road at turn 4, trying to regain traction. And Travis Pettit now in the tie with Ashton Woon with a fast lap honor that he's got. But again, that was from 4th. When it'll update that he's now got himself up to 3rd, it'll put him back in command of the championship and break the tie. so he could sit here, but again, he's got Murphy still right on his heels who wants a race win.
And he won't know that he has the fast lap of the race either, Xander, so he's going to be pushing hard. He needs to get to second in his mind. If I'm P2, I've got it handled. Woon still leads, Macha still into second. Here we come back into the shark fin right now. Does potentially Murphy play the spoiler to get to P3?
It's incredible to think Ashton Woon and Travis Pettit are both hunting for their first career Pro Tour Junior Championship. Who's it gonna be? Out of the final turn, Ashton Woon with a huge gap. Macha will not be close enough. Pettit's gonna shove him. He'll try to make it close. At the line, Woon wins the race. Pettit falls to fourth. And they tie on points. Travis Pettit with the fast lap bonus finishes fourth. Ashton Woon wins the race with Pettit having the fast time. A tie in provisional standings for X30 Junior. Unbelievable.
What a run by Tristan Murphy. That's what I was wondering, whether he was going to get that run from P4, and he did. He stayed to the right side of the racetrack and was able to outgun Pettit to the line. The margin was only 15 thousandths of a second. Woon wins by 37 thousandths. Macha right there as well for second. Murphy in third. Pettit and Samet fourth and fifth. They tie on points. And it was that fast lap for Travis Pettit that was able to get the job done. A 109.204 gives him those 10 bonus points. They both wrap with 14:20.
And now we have to go again to the book, right? It's wins, then seconds, then thirds that will break the ties, typically then down to pre-finals. Look at this replay. This championship might have just been decided by a matter of inches. Woon celebrating a little early. Hangs on though. Gets the win, and Murphy to the outside. Oh my goodness. Less than a matter of inches, less than the edge of the bumper. He gets third away from Pettit. And is that the deciding moment after this entire season here in the SKUSA Pro Tour for X30 Junior? Wow. There's a whole lot we've got to decide on. Scales are rolling. We've got to check on the tiebreakers. What we do know, Ashton Woon, for the second consecutive year, is a winner at the Summer Nationals in the junior categories by 37 thousandths. 2 more races to go, and we can't wait for more. But we've got a lot to debrief on.
Are you stuck with your kart racing? Not sure the ideal kart setup? Well, going to a track for the first time? Well, Kart Class has the answers for you. Our online portal has a wealth of experience and knowledge to help your kart racing. From kart setup advice to track guides that are targeted specifically to your circuit, or the driver coaching aspects with mindset, racecraft and driving techniques. If you want to take your karting to the next level, visit us at kartclass.com.
Hey guys, another Kart Chaser driver fitness episode with me, Chris G. And today we're doing some upper back movements. Here we go.
Exercise number 1 today we're doing is the reverse grip lat pull down. This exercise movement is one of my favorites because it works your grip strength, your biceps, and most importantly, works that lat area that also protects those ribs in the seat.
Exercise number 2 today, the dumbbell chest supported row. Don't forget, good stretch at the bottom, and bring them right to your hips like that, keeping your back nice and arched, shoulders back. Think about having good posture in the cart. Exercise number 3, the inverted Smith machine rows. Grip strength, back strength, overall amazing workout. Thanks again for joining me on another Kart Chaser driver fitness episode with me, Chris G. Race ready training that carries into real life.
Mini Swift presented by Mega Power Engines, ready to go green. Main event number 7 of 8 on the afternoon here from Newcastle, Indiana. We'll break down more of the X30 Juniors when we do have time. Obviously, even timing and scoring is trying to break it down as well, because that was unbelievable. Not only, Rob, they have our footage. They've got their side angle camera. You were a part of that a couple years ago when they brought this finish line in for photo finishes.
Yeah.
Sometimes the timing line doesn't lie, but it might not be physically who was first there.
Yeah, I like having that camera there as well. I think if you're going to go photo finish, you might as well do that, especially when you're talking about a championship. You go back to one with Brandon Lemke and David Malukas a number of years ago, which was actually wrong on the timing, but right on the video. We had the CBS Sports Network cameras there for that one. 2 more to go, Xander. Mini Swift and Pro X30. Jake Manalio, impressive run in that pre-final, getting himself up there to take the pole here alongside Dutch Westbrook. Samuel Chavarri and Mason Brody on row 2. Liam Francisco and Slade Harrell, row 3. Aiden Go alongside Brody Stoffel, row 4. And Axel Gomez and Maddox Carlucci on row 5.
Here we are. There's the red and black of Manalio on the right. Westbrook on the left. Mega Power Engines. Mini Swift is green for round number 6. Oh, one way off. Mason Brody, the 109. Brody off the racetrack here off the start, all the way to the rear.
Lead goes to Manalio out of turn number 4. The short shoot run down to turn 5. They'll get things dialed in. Manalio has that position. Westbrook falling back to about P5 there. He's going to scrap it out a little bit with Francisco. He'll try the inside look. Not quite enough. So Westbrook, after starting on the inside of row number 2, finds himself P5 with Manalio out front, having a great run here this afternoon. Manalio takes the lead right there as well. Is the 198 of Aiden Go. He's up into second.
Good start here for Aiden Go as Jake Manalio gets a couple car lengths off that pass. Westbrook back into 5th as they roll to the shark fin here. First lap underway. We'll let them make their way out to the finish line to update the timing pylon. Put 13 laps remaining on the board and 1 in the books. There'll be another change here before we're done. Francisco to the inside of Chavarri. That's going to be for what looks to be third, if not third on the road behind Go. Let's go down to Caleb Viesca, though. He's got the final word here on the provisional standings of what we just witnessed in X30 Junior.
Yeah, thank you, Xander. And as far as we know, Ashton Woon, provisionally, you are the champion in X30 Junior in 2026. What does that mean? You've just doubled up at the Summer Nationals. You won last year here, and you win again here this year.
Honestly, I have no words. I'm very, very happy to get another championship win provisionally, but, it's pretty fast. I was just trying to keep my head down, and I know some of my friends said they would help me try and win the championship, but obviously I don't know if I could trust them or not because they always do different stuff. Everybody has a different plan, but I trust them, and I guess they helped me quite a bit and got me the championship.
I know it's been a long season, right, to get to this point, and it's your first one in junior. What does that mean to you? What does that mean working with your dad and Speed Concepts Racing?
I can't thank them enough. They've been so good all year, and they've been supporting me for a long time now, this whole year and last year. But I'm very happy. I just can't thank Speed and my dad enough.
Well, try to smile. Try to enjoy it a little bit, Ashton. Congrats.
I will. Thank you.
Guys.
Caleb has the final word, and we'll give you the reason why. 3 wins, with today being win number 3 to Travis's 2. They both split the opening rounds of the championship in Tucson and Cincinnati, 1 win apiece. Yesterday went to Tristan Murphy, so they were tied on wins. But with Woon getting the win, he wins on the tiebreaker as they finished on track. Again, a lot could change. Post-tech underway. Race officials still looking at it. Might be looking at this one already here, too. Mini Swift, a little argy-bargy action between Aiden Go and Liam Francisco right there, fighting inside the top 5.
Yeah, I think, let's just back a quick note there on Woon. A little reserved right now, obviously. You want to get through tech. You want to get through all the penalties that may come through, pushbacks, whatever it may be. But yeah, again, I'm sure there'll be some excitement there. A fantastic run for Woon, but I like the reservation. Let's not go too crazy until it's made official.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of probably a surreal feeling, right?
True.
To know that tiebreaker, right, as close as you can get it, 2-2, and then a win to break the tie, and equally the difference maker. I don't know if Tristan Murphy was one of those friends he was talking about, but by a couple of thousandths. And to my knowledge, Rob, and I haven't called the Pro Tour every year, but that might be, by a physical metric, the closest championship margin in history. Solely because it's not just a tiebreaker, but literally the difference in position, down to thousandths of a second for 3rd to 4th. I'm trying to think of when we've had a scenario that similar. Now, of course, in Mini Swift, things are a little bit different. as we switch gears here to this main event. And we'll let that update, of course. For Mini Swift here, Dutch Westbrook entered today relatively in control aboard the Bennick machine, similar to his teammate Bo Wyatt, who was able to clinch the title already before we got even into the main events. And then Mason Brody, who was his closest competitor in the point standings, having a rough start. He's dropped all the way back to the tail end of the field, so as they run, it looks like a huge delta. However, if Mason can get back going again, it would be interesting. The problem is, again, the fact that Westbrook is second and a 2-car break.
So a little update this from David Cole.
Oh, hold on here. Let's take a look at the replay here, Rob. Let's look at what happened to Mason Brody. He's in the middle towards, on the outside there, and Axel Gomez, I think, just washed out, and it looked like Mason didn't really have control. He had one driver right behind him, Slate Harrell, and then Westbrook across the bow, and the contact just sent him straight off.
Yeah, it did, indeed. So, David Cole sending me a shot of this here right now. Yes, Woon's still the champion, but not because of the most wins. Here's a line. This is from the SKUSA document. Championship ties will be broken by the number of times one driver has beaten the other driver in all main events. Pre-final races will be considered as well, if necessary. 4 times. Woon wins the tiebreaker by beating Pettit 4 times in the 6 main events.
I mean, the thing about that is that's going to go, I guess that's why they have to have the pre-finals there in the head-to-head, because you got a 6-round season, right? 3-3.
3-3. So yeah.
I guess 3-3 with wins too. You could have that same scenario, even numbered, but interesting there.
There you go.
Good point.
So unofficially, again, provisionally, Woon's still the champion. Good stuff.
So there's the tiebreaker. And in terms of Mini, again, for the race leader now, Dutch Westbrook, having gone by Jake Manalio, while we keep tabs on this middle grouping here of Aiden Go, Liam Francisco, Hudson Howard, and Samuel Chavarri. Check out the gap at the line right now, back to Francisco. They're right on the cusp of the draft, or they were. This is much bigger than 9/10 here, and it'll update in a matter of moments. 1.1 seconds burned that lap between the battling.
All right, so what we've got here is a 2-driver battle out front. Pulling away here, 14-lapper for Mini Swift, working lap number 6. And Westbrook and Manalio, very impressive. Manalio's been so good on the day here, Xander, to see what he was able to do in the pre-final, started on the pole. What a tremendous job for him to be able to run, and where he is now, going to be able to cruise to a battle for the race win.
And taking a look at the way the standings are, I think Dutch Westbrook actually, Rob, he may have clinched it going in, and I'd have to take out the rounds. But again, even if it were a perfect score, yeah, well, as they run, this absolutely clinches it. I should take away this main event 200, so it isn't clinched coming in. I'll correct myself on that. It's as they run, obviously by a whole lot. He'd need to fall back about 100 points worth, basically outside the top 10. A good Mini Swift battle here. Not the closest we've had, obviously. Closest we've had, bar set by the race before. Head-to-head battles 4-2 in the favor of Ashton Woon over Travis Pettit, which, of course, 3-2 on the wins would also, at a minimum, put them at tied. And kudos on Woon. I think that's interesting as well for, like, yesterday's main event, right? I mean, you don't win the race. If you were thinking that it was on head-to-head wins, you wouldn't worry if Pettit was ahead of you, but specifically worrying about him, whether he was or not yesterday in the final.
Agreed.
Pays off 4-2. Here's Chavarri now at the front of the pack. Francisco shuffled to 6th. See if this works better, because the pass certainly didn't help. They gave up another 7/10, Rob. Now down to now up to 2.9 seconds from your top 2.
Yeah, that front-running duo is long gone. For Westbrook today, I think you've been challenged for the championship. Brody would have had to been up there trying to get the race win, and that's obviously not going to happen after that send that he got shot off the racetrack on the opening corner. He's now back up to 14th position. But yeah, Westbrook and Brody, or rather Westbrook and Manalio out front by a ton now.
And yeah, Mason Brody, like you said, far from ideal. When you get bit by the chaos, the only hope that you have to get back in the race is for more chaos, and it has been anything but that here out front. Dutch Westbrook and Jake Manalio working well together here for your top 2, pulling away with no issues at all. The next group have tried now a new formation to see if they'll be better, with Samuel Chavarri out front of it. That time by, it was better. It just took him a bit too long to get sorted. He picks up a couple hundredths on the race leaders. needs a lot more than that to get there without just being a surprise at the very end on the main straight when the battling begins in about 6 laps or so as we work lap number 8 with 7 in the books, 7 to go. Your update on Mason Brody as well, because of getting knocked off and then a calmness that has allowed the speed to really separate everyone. He's way back. He was 14th across the line. He might have gotten 1. No, he's about to get up to these 2 here. There he goes right there to the cell tower. Just went by us on the Speed Concepts Racing Parolin machine. A little bit further up from these pair of Velocity Sodies of Grayson Knifick and Jackson Brewster. Finds Mason Brody in 14th, catching up to Maddox Carlucci and Caden Cladera, headed out of the green corner. Here he goes in the black and white machine. Mason Brody trying to make up for lost ground. At least what the reason to fight here, beyond just continuing no matter what, is that Jake Manolio is dangerously close to him in the standings. Every pass he makes puts a little more padding. They're only about 30 apart. This will put them about 34 apart now, I think.
Yeah, I got to keep working forward, because after he gets by the second driver here, and he likely will based on just sheer pace, he's still going to be about 3.5 seconds behind Axel Gomez, who's running 11th. Slade Harrell there as well, up a couple of seconds from Gomez. So this may be it for Brody when he gets by here, but nonetheless, trying to make the best of a situation, having seen the grass and deep into the grass, the driver's right coming out of turn number 1.
Maddox Carlucci now will be the next one on the chopping block, but again, so much space between Maddox and the next one of Axel Gomez. In fact, it's on that alone a 4-second delta. So here he goes on Maddox. And another spot back in the positive direction for Mason Brody, but his progress now puts him still only in 12th. Slightly better than before, but the outside shot that he needed at the championship, he needed Dutch to have the main event that he's currently experiencing, and him to be having the one that Dutch is experiencing, leading the way out front and having your points rival having to potentially lean on a drop round, which again, Dutch already had a very high one coming in, 240. Dutch Westbrook, the most consistent driver, I believe, on the season, if not by his teammate. Yeah, he does have his teammate beat on drops. Bo Wyatt at a 209, Dutch at 240 as Francisco goes by Howard, trading more spots inside the top 5. I stand corrected. Paulie decided to have a really good day today, so 5 points better. Paulie Massimino, highest drop on record for the 2026 season in KA Senior.
What was it?
245.
245.
240 for Dutch. And again, mind you, a perfect day. Fast lap in the main, winning the pre-final, and pole is only 320. So that's 80 shy. In Paulie's case, 75 shy of a perfect day. That was his worst day.
That's
his worst day in 6 races.
That's amazing. That's the way to get it done, man. And again, consistency for the most part is going to put you in a fight for a championship. And again, big shout out to Paulie Massimino there. He's got one more still to go. Got an opportunity, although it be a long shot in the Pro X30 category, I believe. So looking forward to seeing that final race. Those drivers, I'm sure, on pit lane, getting ready to go here as we're only a couple laps away from being done here. Working lap number 10.
One just went way up the hill. 2 of them.
2.
Hudson Howard and Liam Francisco. Just went straight up the embankment.
That was 5th and 6th.
What in the world happened there? Liam Francisco and Hudson Howard together. It was right at the edge of the frame there. Here in this pack we were following. Thankfully we were dropping and moving all around the racetrack to try and look for some action here. And now we're split into pairs of 2. Go in 3rd, Chavarri 4th. The top 2 here still holding that 3-second gap. Just kind of maintaining at this point. Let's see if we can figure out what went wrong. Francisco, Howard, they were actually ahead of Go and Chavarri. Is that right? No, they were behind him. Howard trying to go to the inside, and the cart just went straight on him, just straight up the hill. That's why it looked like 1 to me.
Yeah.
They both just went there. He was hidden behind Hudson.
It's a late move into the corner, obviously. They're already started to turn in a little bit, got in there, and there's no way that car was coming back around the other side. Just the contact there on the outside, both those drivers off. And again, as we know, once you get over the hill like that, you're going to go down the other side. Significantly, Francisco now in the 15th spot, I believe. Hudson Howard, 19th.
And it brings Mason Brody a little further away from Jake Manolio, who still rides along in 2nd. 3 laps to go for this penultimate main event of the 2026 SKUSA Pro Tour season. Dutch Westbrook, Jake Manolio gearing up for a 1v1 duel to decide it. Aiden Go, Samuel Chavarri rooting them on, hoping for some fireworks to close out the year and hoping for some premature fireworks that could bring them in and allow them to spoil the show, because this has been a perfect display of patience here on both drivers' parts.
Yeah, because say Jake Manalio has just not even tried a thing yet. He has been right there waiting. They've got such a huge opportunity now. Big gap between those drivers here. So we'll see when Manalio gets ready to pull the trigger. I have no doubt he will. It feels like he is just ready to do it. The pace is there. Qualified on the pole, or rather got to the pole with a pre-final win. Started on the pole here in the main. Manalio did. He's now sizing up the competition. Where is he going to try that move? Dutch Westbrook saying the same thing already. Pretty much locking down the championship where he runs right now. So now it's about getting that race win at the end. Lap 12 working here. 12 in, 2 laps to go. Little look over the shoulder. See if Manalio tries to pull the trigger. Going, Chavarri not that far back. They'll go side by side though as well. We're going to have a battle for P3 coming down into turn 1.
And that's really the first bit of action that P3 has shown all race long. Aiden Go and Samuel Chavarri trading the spots with 2 laps to go. Chavarri, this will be a big deal, right? Big time day for Samuel. Top qualifying honors, podium on the line. Aiden Go trying to dethrone him here, but they have backed themselves up to 5th and 6th, and now there's 2 more players with a shot at it. Brody Stoffel up 3, but Marcelo Flores from the back of the field up 12 to P6. A solid drive and a heck of a charge. Marcelo Flores might be able to go from the last row of the grid to the podium here, as they're now 4 deep for 3rd.
Aiden Go's got to watch out because Stoffel's there. They're going to cover down the bottom here. Remember, we got a white flag flying this next time by. These 2 drivers that go side by side. No, there's a defense to the inside. Big move to the bottom of the racetrack for Aiden Go. He'll take the spot. It's still Chavarri running in 4th. 5th is now the 112 of Flores. He's been able to get by Stoffel. You're right. Flores thinking about trying to get on the podium from the very back of the grid.
Finally, Jake Manalio pulls the trigger to the lead for the 191. Dutch Westbrook, big run, looked back very early to go right back on him, but he's got a whole lap to regroup. He wanted it back in turn 2, couldn't get it. And so it's Manalio up the hill. Over to turn number 5, Manalio to Westbrook, and then seconds away, nearly 6 seconds back now, finds the fight for P3. We'll have time probably to look at both coming to the line.
Defensive run to the inside for Manalio. Look at the big over-under coming from Dutch Westbrook. He gets a fantastic drive, and he's going to beat him over to turn number 9. Indeed, big cover to the bottom. Maybe a little too much there for Jake Manalio. He's going to get the drag race still. Remember, we've seen a lot of that here this weekend. So although not getting it done and holding it on track to begin the lap, Westbrook still holds the spot. Manalio's going to have one more shot at it.
If you're Dutch Westbrook, do you leave the door open here in the last turn to make sure that you have a good exit? Especially right now, he's still got a good launch out of the shark fin. Let's see what the 133 does. He's got a big gap. 2, nearly 3 car lengths. Jake Manalio caught off guard by the pass earlier on. He's got a good run, though. This one's going to be close here for the race win. Rob down the straight for the final time.
Looks good. Big run. Which way is going to go? Right or left? He's going to go left, right across the line. How close is it? Westbrook does win. It's 42 thousandths of a second at the line. Further back, swerving back and forth for Chavarri.
Aiden Go able to hang on ahead of it all there. He must have been able to send Chavarri into the mess with Stoffel and Flores. So Go will join Jake Manalio and Dutch Westbrook on the podium, as Dutch Westbrook, much to the same way a couple of champions have already done today, completes his championship season in Mini Swift with the last main event win on the year as well. Team Bennick victorious on track and on the point standings in Mini Swift here, presented by Mega Power Engines. Take a look at our final results.
Westbrook with the win by 42 thousandths of a second over Manalio. Great job there for Aiden Go. Stoffel and Flores came up to the end there, but weren't able to make any hay and not able to get an extra spot at the very end. Chavarri holding on to the spot. There's the remainder of the 19 car field. Great run for Flores. We talked about plus 12. Started 18th, getting himself up to P6.
Fast lap of the race going the way of Jake Manalio. Just comes up a little shy in the points. Still a great weekend and a great drive there at the end to end up second and having some hardware to take with him. However, one race remains in the 2026 SKUSA Pro Tour. Nash Motorsports Pro X30 with 3 drivers in the fight for the title. Next.
Motorsport is reinventing itself, and our mission is to accelerate this transformation so that it becomes even more efficient, cleaner, more spectacular, and more sustainable. Welcome to the next generation of motorsport. TotalEnergies and Peugeot co-developed the 9X8, an eco-responsible hybrid electric hypercar capable of outstanding performances.
Karting isn't just speed. It's control, precision, freedom. At Atlanta Motorsport Park, Kart Freedom isn't just a team. It's where drivers are made.
Champions aren't just born on the kart track. At SimShop, we deliver professional-grade simulators with the best performance-to-price ratio in the industry. Founded by racers who understand what you need, our SimMagic and Moza equipment is powerful enough for the pros, yet affordable for everyone. With unmatched customer support and a thriving community, we're your racing partner. Visit simshop.com today.
Gee, looks like we're missing an engine. What the hell am I supposed to tag?
What do you mean? It's my Greyhound. It's all I need.
Where's the rest of it?
It doesn't matter. It's a Greyhound.
You're gonna make weight. Okay, you're good.
Sitting by here with Kyle, our race winner. Tell me how you did it. You were blazing fast out there, and I mean, you don't even have a go-kart, man. Tell me about it.
Yeah, you know, Norberg, Schmorberg, the Greyhound-powered Greyhound was great today. You know, it makes the difference. And the team's been working really hard back at the shop, and, you know, just shout out Greyhound.
Thank you, Kyle.
How the f did you just win?
Doesn't matter. It's a Greyhound.
Engines are fired and the karts are away for the final main event of the 2026 SKUSA Pro Tour. Championship weekend coming down to this here for Pro X30 presented by Nash Motorsports. We thought coming into the weekend it was going to be all, we've got one around. Jose, no, it's Fianchi.
Fianchi.
Well, a little bit too eager to get going. Fianchi back the right direction as they slowly make their way out onto the racetrack. Let's take it to the starting grid. Youngest ever on the pole, if not maybe by Connor Zilish, going way back here for Davin Roberts, 14 years of age, alongside Paulie Massimino, McQueen and Drew, Moya and Vasquez Jr. on row 3.
James Overbeck, his best starting spot of the weekend, outside there of inside of row number 4, alongside Gus Lawrence. Diego Ramos and Joe Turney on row 5. Lawrence and Turney, two of the drivers in the fight. Xander outside of row 4, outside of row 5.
There you go. Moving on to the number of drivers that had topsy-turvy pre-finals here to keep tabs on. Blake Nash back in 12th. Oliver Hodgson 13th. Had to go forward with Turney from way back on the grid. How about Donovan Mania? Only made it up to 19th by the time everything was cleared up in that pre-main.
Let's throw the note in on Joe Turney, a 5-second penalty for instant responsibility that was given after the pre-final, then overturned upon review. So that was big for him. That would have dropped him significantly down the order.
Indeed. It's now got it where he's still in command, but only by a little. 53 points right now ahead of Gus Lawrence, 76 ahead of Paulie Massimino. But there's 200 points, 210 when you count the fast lap bonus on the line. This championship could go 3 different ways. One driver looking to make it go his way is on the outside of the front row, and a 14-year-old sophomore in Pro X30 leads him to green. Round 6 from Newcastle underway.
Massimino ends up off in the grass. He's going to lose a bunch of spots. He's going to fall down the order. David Roberts takes the lead and holds him to the first couple of corners. A lot of aggressive action there for Ruben Moya right with him. Caden McQueen as well. Joe Verbeck up into the 4th spot, make it 5th. Does he hold on? He does, as Ramos tries to go around the outside. Overbeck holds to 4th, but Roberts is your leader going into Cell Tower.
Oh, Jake Drew was right behind Paulie Massimino, and they both now find themselves all the way back in the high teens. Roberts, Moya, McQueen, and James Overbeck with Ramos. And look at Joe Turney finding a way through the madness up into the top 10 comfortably. Moya, the new leader now, with a move and covering to the infield hairpin, stacking everybody up here.
Opening lap chaos as expected. Everybody's super aggressive, trying to find a way through. Always the best opportunity to make those passes, especially if you start deeper in the field. You can get aggressive and work forward. There's those two drivers right there in the championship fight. Joe Turney able to get out in front of Gus Lawrence. Turney looking for a much better day than he had yesterday. He'll cover to the bottom down on the inside. Lawrence trying to get a run on him. Not going to be enough. Does the over-under coming through the corner potentially? Hard to see. Does look to the inside at 2. Not sure if it happened. Picking up Hodgson there as he's right there with Ramos.
Oh, man. What a topsy-turvy run in the points here. It would have been great. This is how close it could have been moments ago for Paulie Massimino, but now knocked off the road. Advantage Turney by 27 over Lawrence and 100 over Paulie. But they are all so close. This could go so many ways, and a lot of ways would not be good for many there. You saw Gaffera out of shape. Blake Nash in the middle as Ruben Moya leads the way, hunting for his first big-time win in Pro X30. Caden McQueen as well, now up to 2nd.
Great job there for Caden to get himself into the position. Oh, there's contact a little further back. Turney.
That was Overbeck up and onto the back of Cabanas as now Ramos gets into 3rd. Hodgson moving his way up alongside to try and challenge as well. And Overbeck now finds himself back behind Lawrence, who has gotten to the bumper of Turney. He knows he needs to get past him and put a couple karts between them. Here he goes, top of the screen as the rest stay single file. Gus Lawrence, not quite enough steam.
David Roberts was getting roughed up a little bit. A couple of drivers been able to get by him, but able to kind of stop the bleeding there, staying in front of Hodgson.
Well,
Hodgson just
not
slipped
anymore.
by.
Yeah,
right there, just as I said on 2. Hodgson made the move to the inside, coming through 2 over to 3. So move him back a spot. Cabanas up there still as well at 6. Turney and Lawrence in 7th. Now, what kind of race car does Turney have right now? Is that Cabanas? Yeah, Cabanas went off on the outside of turn 6.
And Turney is trying to park the bus here. Gus Lawrence, talk about a situation here where you've really got to decide your morality. Lawrence won the Super Nats after Turney got penalized for contact moving Caden McQueen out of the way. But he knows he's got to keep Lawrence behind him and pack the pack up. There's no pushbacks. They've allowed a little bit of argy-bargy. Does Gus Lawrence, realizing that at one point, go against everything that he has adamantly voiced his opinion on and use the front bumper? Because he's going to need to get past Turney if he wants any shot at the title, and the title is driving away. It's that group of 5 up the road.
Yeah, and just wait for the kart to come in. As we know, we're so early in the race here right now. Those karts aren't perfect. Turney's looking decent right now. Is able to stretch out, get in front of that group, and as Xander had said, more like the fact that he was trying to stack everybody back in We'll see now with open racetrack what happens here.
Gus Lawrence now having to protect as Massimino gets by. Paulie Massimino already back up and well in the top 10. That's 7th. But again, they've got a couple seconds, 3 seconds to get up to the lead group. The good news is it's a big group. And I don't know if any of the drivers here are really showing a ton of speed in the long run. In fact, they're dicing it up. Got a new leader. Moya back to second. Ramos to the front. Diego Ramos won this very event 1 year ago here, Rob. Round 6, got his first X30 major. He's trying to get number 2 1 year later.
Hodgson looking really good on that factory card as well. You know, he was tuning on that thing all weekend long. Had a lot of chats with Caleb throughout this weekend here, and he's looking very strong. Top 5 drivers with David Roberts holding at the tail there, still looking good. Turney's got the next group with Massimino there as well. Gus Lawrence, Eric Doan in there too. They're not racing too much right now up front. Let's see whether or not, I think the big thing right now is if Massimino's going to have anything for Turney. Can he reel him in and get him by, then maybe bring Lawrence with him? Turney's looking good here so far. Massimino just went purple on that last lap, Xander. Turned down a 109.092, half second faster than Ramos.
And more importantly, to your point, Rob, he was a 10th and a half better than Turney. Now again, he was in the tow of Joe, getting a little shove from Lawrence. How about this kind of picture? The 3 drivers in the championship fight right together, and the leaders duking it out again. This time, double passing, 2nd and 4th. McQueen, 4th, Hodgson to 2nd. Oliver Hodgson won the Winter Series championship. He's also among many in the other conversation about the championship points, and that is the Circle of Champions top 10, because thinking back to Tucson, would have been on the podium, but an early opening lap bit of contact, none of his own doing. A wreck knocked the hose off of his radiator. It let all the fluid out, all the water and coolant out. He came in underweight in the scales after finishing 3rd, got DQ'd, essentially took him out of the championship hunt. Turney continues to close the gap to Roberts. Last time by, now to this time. Another half second burned off the gap by JT.
Yeah, he just went purple as well. Fastest driver on the racetrack. Massimino there, right there with them. Again, there are your championship contenders right there in Turney, Massimino, and Lawrence. If they want a shot at it, they're going to have to go by Joe and get him further back. But they also want to get to the front as well, and he is leading them there right now.
And again, Joe Turney, Paulie Massimino, Gus Lawrence, I mean, they have been the class of the season, right? I mean, you look at all 3 of them, all have had one bad day. The rest of their days, they have been essentially no worse than the top 5 at any given point almost in any of those sessions. This was the most out of character day for all 3 of them. Really, unfortunately, too much in character, at least in history, for Paulie Massimino getting knocked off after having a ton of speed starting in the first 2 rows. But Turney and Lawrence starting outside the top 15, Turney outside the top 20. Yeah, nobody would have predicted that based on the way the season had unfolded thus far.
I'll say this, Turney, Massimino, and Lawrence still faster than the leaders. Let's have a look at just the lap times when they come back through here now. A 9.1 for Ramos, 8.9 for Hodgson. You go back to Turney at an 8.6, Massimino 8.7 along with Lawrence. They're literally 4 or 5 tenths of a second faster than the leaders right now. These guys are going to roll up here. We got a long way to go. We're only working lap number 7 of 16. There's a long run still for these drivers, and they are closing up. And indeed, as they continue to battle here, Ramos, or rather Moya, going to the inside, making that move there on McQueen. Roberts coming with them. They're racing up front. It's going to allow Turney and the light to get through there.
There's a look at your head-to-head. Hodgson versus Turney. Couple of tenths give the advantage to Joe. And again, the 2 leaders getting the bit of the gap. The 3rd, 4th, and 5th place group continuing to trade spots. Caden McQueen fighting to stay inside the top 10 here in the points, fighting to stay in the top 5 on the racetrack because he knows he needs it. Here, Blake Nash on the bubble, Vasquez Jr. and Overbeck outside looking in, hoping for big-time days. So at the end of lap 7, 9 to go, we're starting to reconnect the dots. Ramos to Hodgson, then Moya, then Roberts, then McQueen, who's now going to have to deal with Joe Turney, who's looking and has got 5th away with a big jump over the curb in turn 3.
Yeah, he was lining things up there, and he is aggressive, working his way forward. Here comes Massimino. He's going to go on McQueen as well. Lawrence has got to do the same thing. He's got to get right there. Does he have him lined up, potentially coming over in here to the cell tower? He does. Looks to the bottom of the racetrack. Book it. He's through as well. Lawrence is through. McQueen just lost 3 more spots over the last 4 corners. Xander, that car is going backwards.
And again, that's disastrous for Caden McQueen's hopes here to stay inside the top 10 as he gets ever closer to Blake Nash on the bubble. Still has about 30 to the good to the man in 11th, Jesus Vasquez Jr. But mind you, Vasquez Jr., a part of the GFC group that have found a little bit of speed on Sunday afternoon. He's actually right behind his former teammate Jake Drew at the moment in 13th. He's got a lot of points he could make up himself with Blake Nash coming up as well. Joe Turney on the move, halfway in, halfway to go. Caleb Viesca, what do you have for us as we continue to roll through Pro X30?
Yeah, thank you, Xander. The track temperature has raised significantly. 102 degrees Fahrenheit is the temperature on track right now. This is the highest that it's been all weekend long. So for those drivers that opted to go on a little bit of higher tire pressure, this is about when they're going to start to feel their cars getting a little bit overstuck. Guys?
Yeah, that's the setup they've been working on, right? They know they're looking at the data. They know what we're going to get here in terms of temp. They know that the rubber's been going down. We had a misty morning, but with those temperatures coming up, that's what the mechanics and the tuners get paid for, man. They know what it's going to be. They have to make their best guess on what they want to do, and if they've done it, they've set the tire pressures correctly, you're going to see these cars really start to come in over the second half of this race.
Joe Turney owning the fast lap has 10 points, not only taken off the board, but added to his total here on a day that he didn't think he was going to need to really have to perform on. But a full, fresh frame for him and a new day, a fresh, good night's sleep for Joe Turney, trying to close out his second Pro Tour championship in just as many tries, keeping a perfect record as he closes in now to within 1 second of the race lead. Oliver Hodgson is ready to change that, and he goes to the point. Ramos back to second, and it's all really closing up here, which is a good thing and also a bit of a worrying thing if you're a Turney fan, because that means chaos. Moya in the next one.
Ruben Moya to the inside of turn number 4. He slides by Ramos as well. Great pass to get that all started for Hodgson as he goes to the lead. Moya to second. It is again Ramos down into the third spot. Look who else is closing up. Massimino getting closer now here on Turney as well, now that that's happening. Turney 5th, Massimino 6th, Lawrence 7th.
And now Turney to 4th. Paulie's got to quickly do the same move on Roberts. Lawrence has got to try to follow suit. He does. And they quickly, every step Joe makes, know that they need to make the same. In fact, Gus now all over Paulie. Let's see if he waits or if he goes right here on his heels. He'll wait as the momentum is still trending good, and they're worried again about letting Joe get too far out in front, working together. Because at this point, second to third, there's a bit of a delta, but again, they're trying to keep the championship hope alive, and they know they need to keep their eyes on the number 358 to do so. Hodgson only out in front by a little bit. Ruben Moya, all quick, the quickest in the morning sessions and the end of the day in these kind of conditions on Friday. Nothing to show for it from yesterday. Closing in on your race leader though, Rob.
I think one of the things right now for Gus Lawrence is he's going to be watching whether Massimino has the pace to be able to close up on Turney. If he does not, then eventually Lawrence has got to go by. He's got to pull the trigger and say, listen, if you're not getting it done, let me try to get through, because the bottom line is we can't let Joe get up and try to get a couple more spots here. We got to be there. Like you said, everything he does, we have to do. If he makes a move, we got to make a move. We have to get ourselves into that position. Working lap number 11, Xander, just 6 laps remaining. Hodgson still looking good. Moya's been aggressive as well. Turney, though, up to P4.
Oliver Hodgson trying to walk away with this one. Factory Karts had their summer camp here just last weekend. We asked Oliver about the chassis development yesterday. He said, really, man, this thing's been turnkey all year. I've been telling you guys. Yeah, we learn a little more each weekend of what works at different venues and different conditions, but to be honest, I've just been enjoying coaching, helping the race team grow, and just driving this thing because it is fast. And 5 different brands in your top 5. Factory Karts, American Steel out front, Pantano, one of the newest brands in the American scene in 2nd, Birol Art for PSL 3rd, Kart Republic 4th, OTK 5th, and they're all continuously tightening here. You can feel the temperature slowly rising and building, but it is yet to really explode. And I don't think that we're going to get through it without that happening here. Hodgson with a little bobble right there here, Rob. Here comes Moya.
You know Moya will make that move. There's no way you have to pull that driver out. He's going to make that move if it's there. Very aggressive in terms of trying to find pace. Look at this move to the inside. Ramos is going to throw it to the inside of the left-hander in the shark fin. It's going to give Hodgson a little room. It's also going to bring the guys up here on Turney as well. Turney able to get by Moya on that lap as well. So Joe Turney now into P3.
And again, Diego Ramos, he knows how to get it done here. He's done it in the wet and the dry, but now he's got the first of the fastest 3 all race bearing down. Turney would love to capitalize and get the win. Will they allow Hodgson to get too far out in front, though, is the question. 3.5 laps is all that's left in this 16-lapper. Turney is just as close to Ramos as Ramos was to Moya when he pulled the trigger and went by. Let's look what the cell tower hairpin brings. Turney looks back, sees Moya's there, protects. Smart play, still giving Ramos the opportunity to try and hunt down Hodgson. Half a second last time by.
I think you're going to see some urgency out of Lawrence here pretty soon. He is sitting back there in a spot that's not getting it done for him. He's P6. He's got to get up to the point where if something does happen, he can potentially capitalize. There's finally the move there for Massimino. He gets by, and let's see whether or not Lawrence, no, he couldn't do it. Massimino does get by. In scoreboards, we'll move him up to P4. The methodical march back forward after the shot out into the grass in turn 1 for Massimino. He has just calmly and coolly worked his way forward, trying to follow along essentially here with Joe Turney. Front 3 drivers with a bit of gap. They got to get rolling here now. Lawrence is thinking about defending. I think Eric Doan's telling him, don't worry about it. I'm with you. Let's go.
And how about it for the rookie, Eric Doan? Doaner got a top 10 on debut at the Winter Series. And now looking at another one to close out his rookie campaign in the Pro Tour. Turney working with Ramos still, giving him the chance to go forward. He went purple a few laps back. Last time by, Ramos got a 0.5 out of the gap to Hodgson. He still needs more than that, though. Joe is being well patient and, again, smartly done by Turney, because if this goes wrong at all of a sudden, Massimino's there that could spoil things. He's worried just as much about Paulie behind him, who might even have a bit of an edge up on Turney at this point in the race. And for Gus Lawrence, things are all going wrong. He is losing confidence in his late race speed. He's backing the pack up now to the rest of the field. It is Massimino trying to charge to Turney. Ramos trying to close it to Hodgson. This is one of the toughest tracks, Rob, to stay out in front. So many grass exit areas where the curb falls off that the leader is having to be like a plow to clear a clean path. To be able to do what Oliver's doing and minimize the damage that they're making up on his gap is incredible.
2 laps remaining. Turney still with the fast lap of the race, P3. And we are lining things up now to see if Hodgson can bring this thing home for Factory Kart. Will American-made material win here at Newcastle? He's done it before. Can it do it again? Here he is in the single-speed Pro X30 category. Ramos lining things up as well. Turney doesn't seem too over-anxious to make a pass. Doesn't look to the inside of cell tower. White flag's going to fly this next time by.
Did they gain enough? They, I think, did. Last time by, 10.5. This time, the draft will accelerate them even further, teeing up for the white flag. All they got to do is get within about a car length and force Hodgson to defend, and then it's anyone's game. Ramos needs another perfect lap like he put together last time. This one looks like it might just be that. If Turney stays patient, stays calm there in third, he could even let Paulie go if he really wanted to, and still comfortably cruise to the championship. He's too far back to give Diego much help. It's all going to be on the shoulders of the Brazilian. His best friend, Matheus Morgado, sealed a championship with a win today. Could Brazil, for the first time in a long time, lock out the main event wins on a Pro Tour weekend? Ramos under pressure from Turney, final lap underway.
Solid penultimate lap there for Hodgson as he's giving himself at least a bit of a gap right now. He is not defending down into turn number 5. Ramos thinking about the win. Turney has not made the move into the second spot yet. If he does, that may give the opportunity for Hodgson to get that cushion he just so drastically needs. Working through cell tower now. Good stuff here for Oliver Hodgson as he leads through turn number 9.
Oh, Ramos is close. He'll have a run at him. If not an 11, potentially the 13. Hodgson starting to defend. Turney defending from Paulie. It'll be mano-a-mano for the win. Will Ramos get the help? Turney looking low, covering for P3 to keep the fight alive. Massimino crosses him up to try to steal third away. He does.
Great job there from Massimino. This is going to give Ramos the opportunity to take a shot at it. It'll be the drag race to the line. Ramos is close. Does he send it in 17? He doesn't. Minor cover there from Hodgson. Here comes the run down the line. Is it going to be Oliver or is it going to be Diego? Out of the corner, side by side. Who's going to get the drag race? Hodgson's got a lot of forward bite. Coming across the line, it's going to be Oliver Hodgson in Factory Kart by 64 thousandths of a second.
And the championship rivals finish 15 thousandths apart half a tenth apart. Turney beats Massimino by less than 100th. Moya gets to 5th. And right behind them, Gus Lawrence for 6th. Oliver Hodgson delivers on Sunday for Factory Karts, their first Pro Tour win in Pro X30, their second one in 3 years, winning here at Newcastle in a headline class. And most notably here, Oliver Hodgson, another win on the year. Winter Series, a win and a chip, and a win to close out the Pro Tour.
And listen, Diego Ramos was right there, so you got to give it up for Oliver Hodgson. A fantastic drive, even though he kind of did a half defensive move to the inside. He got such a good run, got the thing rotated through turn number 17, and in that drag race, he was able to just nip Diego Ramos at the line, 64 thousandths of a second. Fantastic drive for Oliver over those last couple laps, knowing that Diego was there, knowing that Joe Turney was there. And again, that big fight from Paulie Massimino on that final circuit, not quite able to come away with it.
Here's a final look at the point standings here, folks, in the championship for Pro X30, and we'll quickly show you the bottom of the top 10 because things changed. Joe Turney obviously seals the championship, finishing ahead of the rivals there in Lawrence and Massimino. Hodgson jumps all the way up to 4th off the back of that win. Drew 6th. And finally in the cut line, as that will update here, while Turney gets to let it sink in, Jesus Vasquez Jr.'s valiant effort drives him well up the board. We'll get to that. Let's get to our winner, though, first off. Caleb.
Yeah, thank you, Xander. Joe Turney, you are a champion once again in the SKUSA Pro Tour. How does that feel?
It feels good. Super happy, obviously. Big thanks to the team. Thanks to Tate on the spanners. Kart Republic, Miami, BN as well. All done a fantastic job to get here and do this again. So, yeah, and just happy as well that we're back at the front, unlike yesterday. So, yeah, package was awesome in the final, especially there. Like we were ripping through, and yeah, I think on another day we could have fought to win that race.
Yeah, and again, talking about that, right, this is a weekend where I think all year you've had to work harder than ever to just even get yourself on the podium, to just even get a result, and to really clinch this championship. Talk to me about how long and how stressful this weekend's been for you.
Yeah, a lot, like especially after yesterday just made everything so much harder. So last night was tough, and we didn't know if we were coming here today and going to be competitive or not. But no, we just did everything we knew, and yeah, once we had everything in the right order, we were super quick again.
Well, congrats on the championship, Joe.
Thank you.
Guys.
Joe Turney, 2 for 2 in tries of the Pro Tour Championship. And we checked a little bit at the Circle of Champions Fund as well. The top 10 getting the 2027 entry, tires package, $1,000 in cash and upwards. Jesus Vasquez Jr. charges through the field. Caden McQueen sadly slides down the leaderboard outside the top 10 to 13th. Buddy J up to 10th. Blake Nash inside. And Davin Roberts talked about how important this would be for his program. 8th for the sophomore, 14 years old, and he's got a top 10.
And let's just throw this out there. Vasquez Jr. and James Overbeck got 24 points, the cut line to get into the top 10. They were across the line, 14th and 15th by 8 thousandths of a second, side by side. Can you imagine a little different back and forth there?
And McQueen was right behind him, too.
He was. Unbelievable stuff there, and well done for Jesus Vasquez Jr. But yeah, Davin Roberts, 14 years of age, puts himself in the top 10 of the Pro Tour. The drivers around him among the absolute best in the business.
Let's go back down to Caleb. We've heard from our champ. Let's keep it going.
Yeah, thank you, Xander. We heard from our champion already. Let's hear from our Sunday race winner, Oliver Hodgson. A winner on Sunday. We talked yesterday, right, before the race. Yeah. You've been working so hard for that first Pro Tour win. We talked after the race about the hard work you guys have done all year to get to this point. And one in Houston, you win in Indiana. How does it feel?
Yeah, great. Like, I think, I already targeted MCC was going to be a tough one for me. And after such a great winter tour, it was like, this is going to be big to have to back this up. And I love this track, and just really excited for everyone involved that come together. In this race, we were good in the final yesterday, so it wasn't a surprise that the kart was good again in this final. And yeah, really glad that, super pumped to do that, and just kind of prove that everything we've been doing in the operation has been the right thing.
And again, you were just talking off the air, right, how much you wanted this win for Billy, who's had a really long week, and he had a really heartbreaking day as well. How much does it mean to get a win for Billy in the entire camp?
Oh, yeah, it's massive. Obviously, he's been through so much, perhaps, or most likely the best week of his life from a non-racing standpoint. So, yeah, then when he had a rough day, to go back it up for the team with everything we know was right and going to go good feels great.
Well, congrats on the win, Oliver. Enjoy it. Guys.
Rob, what a day. Another Pro Tour in the books here. Happy to have you with us for the full season.
It was fantastic once again, and just a tremendous way to cap off the season.
Couldn't have scripted it any wilder here on the air. The 2026 Pro Tour in the books in terms of the on-track activity. For everyone at Superkarts USA, Newcastle Motorsports Park, EKN, and of course our fantastic Kart Chaser production team, Caleb Vieska, Rob Howden, and myself, Zander Clemens. We've enjoyed bringing you all the coverage. Post-race coverage will get going here in a moment. We'll see you there after this break.